Welcome to Beyond Normal Days. I'm your host, Guillermo. This is episode 19 featuring LA's very own Spiñorita. This episode contains a remote interview that Spiñorita and I did due to the coronavirus situation and the necessary precautions needed, such as staying at home. Spiñorita is a DJ, radio host, and all-around music lover from Alhambra, California. She produces and hosts an online radio show called Casual Play that airs monthly on NTS. NTS is an online radio station based in London with studios in Los Angeles, Shanghai, and Manchester, broadcasting underground music live 24/7. In this interview, you will hear about Spiñorita's eclectic musical upbringing. She talks about going to concerts and backyard parties with her older sister Raquel and the groover culture they were a part of. Spiñorita also talks about her previous trips to Europe and Japan and how her connection with NTS came about. I asked her about the inception of Casual Play, which has been online for a decade now and still going strong. She talks about the time she DJ'd at SiriusXM Shade 45's Sway in the Morning Show, and I was blown away when I heard about her connection with the legendary Los Angeles painter, Chaz Bojorquez. This episode is filled with so much interesting and captivating stories. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Thank you, Angela. The mix for this episode was curated by Spiñorita herself, which has me hyped. Make sure to bump it loud, y'all. Follow Spiñorita on Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, and Mixcloud at Spiñorita to keep up with show dates, Casual Play showtimes, and more. Follow Beyond Normal on Twitter at BeyondNormal_, and on Instagram and Facebook at Beyond Normal Official. Thank you for tuning in, and now please welcome Spiñorita.
the track. I came to change.
amizade assim eu não quero pra mim. Amizade assim é uma bosta. Perto ela fala bem, mas fala mal pelas costas. Perto ela fala bem, mas fala mal pelas costas. É melhor andar sozinha do que mal acompanhado. É melhor andar sozinha do que mal acompanhado. Se você der mole, ela toma teu namorado. Se você der mole, cuidado com ela, hein? Vai fofoca. Ela fala mal de mim, mas quer sentar na minha piroca. Ela fala mal de... Ela tá inventando história, hein? Ela fala mal de mim, mas quer sentar na minha piroca. Vai descer a pele, sobe a pele com esse teu beijo leve. Desce a pele, sobe a pele com esse teu beijo leve. Mamá, rapidinho. Desce a pele, sobe a pele com esse teu beijo leve. Mamá, rapidinho. Ela fala que a mina ama, ela fala que gosta, não gosta. Ela espera você virar as costas. Vai lá começar com a fofoca. Amizade assim eu não quero pra mim. Amizade assim é uma bosta. Certo ela fala bem, mas fala mal pelas costas. Certo ela fala bem, mas fala mal pelas costas.
So sad, mother. So sad. 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 So sad. So sad. So sad. So sad, mother. 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 So sad.
So how are you? Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm doing good. Just, surviving.
Like everybody else, yeah.
Exactly.
No, but before anything, this is Beyond Normal Days, and I'm here with Spiñorita. So I like letting the listeners, well, actually, I like letting the guests tell the listeners where you're from. So if you want to start off with that.
Sure. I'm from San Gabriel Valley in LA. I live in Alhambra. I grew up there or here. So yeah, that's where I'm from.
That's sick. That's tight. How was growing up in Alhambra, or you said St. Gabriel Valley, right? So SGV.
Yeah, the SGV. It was dope. I mean, I had a lot of really cool friends growing up. It was like the skater scene when I was in grammar school. So my neighbor, he was a skater and I was into skating. And so all his homies would come over and we'd all just like hang out and I'd pretend to know how to skate. I had a really dope board actually though. I had a girl board
Oh,
with like
girl, like the brand, like girl.
yeah, with
Oh,
paddle
fresh.
trucks and Plan B wheels. I was super into skating. But during that time, after that, I was into like, you know, groover scene, dancing, going to dances and stuff. So Alhambra was cool. One of my best friends lived at the corner of my block, and he was one of the guys that I would always go to like drum and bass parties with. So I'd like roll up to his house, and then we'd roll to our other homeboy's house in Alhambra, and we'd all just like take off from there. So yeah, it was cool. It was dope.
And that's cool that you said that, like, that you were into skating because, like, when I kind of got into electronic music and I always see these, pictures of back in the scene, back in the day, and I
Mhm.
always see, like, the skater, I guess, culture and, like, how they dress and everything kind of, like, went hand in hand.
Yeah, totally.
And that's tight because that was my beginning of, like, my first hobbies was skateboarding, and then I guess it transitioned into raving and DJing and whatnot. But that's tight. That kind of makes me kind of smile too because I'm like, hey, skating. That's really close to my heart.
Yeah, one thing about skating was that the videos that they used to come out with had some of the best music on it. Like, I don't know if you ever peeped that, but whoever was doing the music supervision for that was amazing. Like, I'm sure it was the guys that were choosing the songs, but there was so much good hip hop in there, even jazz. Like, I learned a lot about music from skate videos. I just found one of my old skate videos. I'm so I regret one time when I used to live in the Bay Area, and I don't know if I was hard up for money or something, but I sold all my skate videos and my magazines, and I could like kick myself so hard right now. I had
Oh
some
man.
really videos. Like those were classic. I don't know. You'll never. That whole era was just super ill, and I regret that. That's one of the regrets I have. But the music in skate videos was very influential to me. I actually ventured into music supervision and kind of like have that influence because of skate videos, just because of watching them and being like, damn, what's that song? So yeah, I love old skate videos.
And basically, well, I was gonna say no, but were they VHS? Of course, right?
Yeah, VHS. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
found one, like I said. It's in my room right here, so I'm hoping to like, I don't know, we might have like an old VHS system and watch it, maybe put it on Instagram, little clips of it. But yeah, super dope.
My first skate video that I still have, it's a 401 VM, and it's a VHS, and I still keep it here just I guess for decoration more than anything because I don't have a VHS VHS player.
Right. I know. That's how I feel too. It's just like sitting there and the cover art is like super ill. So I'm like, I'll just keep it.
And you mentioned that you learned your music taste from skateboarding videos. I know your family plays a big part in that as well too, correct?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Like right now, we're all cleaning the house, like that's the new normal, disinfecting your house, 24/7 because of coronavirus.
And
So my mom is bumping Alexa right now, but it's so funny because she like argues with her. It's so funny. Um, she'll be yelling at Alexa like, "Not that song." I'm like, "Oh my god, it just cracks me up." So she's listening to like Dionne Warwick right now, and they're trying to put the Pandora old school jams station on there, but I'm not over there, so I can't help them. But yeah, my parents always listen to music. We had backyard parties all the time. My brothers were a big influence on me, as well as my sister. I talk about her a lot, but she was the one that really like showed me a lot as far as going out and parties and music, different styles and stuff. So yeah, my family is a huge influence on me.
And your parents, I was prepping for this interview. There's several interviews, uh, of you. For example, Forbes, I think last year interviewed you,
Yeah.
and it said that your parents are Mexican American. So were they born here or not, like
Uh,
the LA area?
my mom was born here. My dad was born in Juarez. So my mom grew up in Bunker Hill and then moved to Boyle Heights. And then my dad grew up, I think, in Chino Hill. Well, after, coming from Juarez, they were in Chino Hills first and then moved to El Sereno, which isn't very, which is the neighboring city to where I'm at. So yeah, I mean, my dad, first generation, my mom, I don't remember what generation she is, but um, yeah, and then when they got together, they bought a house here in Alhambra, and that's pretty much I've lived here my whole, from growing up.
That's cool. That's tight. And your I think you mentioned that your dad like is the one that maybe put you onto jazz or like kind of showed you, the different, I guess, artists and musicians in the jazz genre.
Oh yeah, totally. Me and my dad are like, he's my jazz partner in crime. Like we used to go to like a couple of jazz shows together. We discovered this artist. His name is Kurt Elling through one of my friends. Um, so we went to a show like a while ago. But yeah, he would tell me about he went to Trade Tech, um, and he would say that they would play like jazz records on their break and stuff. And he's super into like the Jazz Crusaders and just different artists. And so whenever I see like a Jazz Crusaders record, I'll buy it for him, just because that's his like he loves them. Particularly the song called "Song for My Father." He really loves that song. So yeah, that's my jazz guy right there.
And you're gonna have your mom and dad, right, for a casual play episode next month.
Yeah, yeah, we're quarantined together, so I figured why not make it, something fun to do. And I've been meaning to do kind of like an oral history with my parents. I don't have children yet, but if I do, or even for any youngsters in the family or anybody really in our family who wants to hear about, music and how they grew up and what it was like for them back in the day and going out and all that stuff, um, I want to record it and have it available to everyone so that we can listen to them reminisce and talk about how they grew up and just, they always tell us the stories, but I want to put it down somewhere, like I think that's important to do, especially with like your family. You take it for granted sometimes, and when they're gone, you wish you had those stories to tell. So yeah, that's my goal, is to keep it fun, keep it light, talk about music, talk about how they grew up and where they met. They met at a bar. So yeah, we're gonna get into all that stuff, and I'm excited about it.
I'm too. When I saw that you posted, I'm like, that is gonna be so cool. Just because, well, the person that you are in a sense, so like I always feel like that's why I always ask people to like, their musical upbringing, because family members, uncles, everybody, even older cousins, they usually influence us in a sense, for the some part, and then we always look back to, what was our musical upbringing in a sense.
Yeah, for sure. Like my dad's cousin, who is my cousin, but I look at him as an uncle because he's older, he was like the first DJ I ever saw. He would DJ all our parties. So I never really thought I'd be a DJ, but I always loved to dance. So I'd always be the little kid and on the dance floor at all the parties. quinceañeras. Like I battled someone at a quinceañera. Oh my God, I've battled so many people. It's just funny. But yeah, so my cousin was a big influence on me. And I try to tell him as much as possible. He's like, me? I'm like, yeah. And yeah, you're right. I mean, family, definitely. That's like your immediate, you know, just first of everything. So yeah, there's so much influence from us.
Wait, how old were you when you battled in the quinceañera?
I was probably like 13 or 12 or 13. There's a video of it too. I'm like, oh my God. It's so funny. But
Right.
yeah, it's I love to dance. I think that's the main the first my first love is dancing, and then DJing came hand in hand with it. Because if you've ever seen me DJ, like I just sing along with the song, I dance to it, I let the song ride out, and it's just me playing jams, you know. So I'm obviously gonna be involved and dancing to it. And I don't believe those people that are like, you know, the DJ's always dancing. I'm like, at least we're having fun, you
I know,
know.
like, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm like, when I'm playing it, like, oh, man, some tracks just make you want to just like, sometimes when I'm in my room just mixing, I go
Yeah.
crazy just by myself, and I'm just like, man, I'm like, maybe I should need to chill a little bit, but nah, like, I think just that's how you express yourself too, so why not?
Totally. Like my practice sessions are so fun. I mean, since, you know, everything going down with the coronavirus and you know, having to stay inside, I kind of had a hard time with it for the first couple of days. It was just kind of like you don't know how to feel, you know. Everybody's involved and impacted by it. So at first it was kind of like numbing, you know, where you're just like, I don't want to do anything. Like, what am I gonna do? And then finally yesterday I went outside, and my setup is in the garage, and I have a digging crew called Club Diggies. So I picked a record that I bought on one of my solo excursions in Japan. And I sent them a video because we obviously can't meet up, you know, right now. So I sent everybody a video and talked about the record. And after I did the video, I just started playing my records, and it felt so good. I was like, dang, I needed this. And I was dancing so much and just like singing. And it's therapeutic, you know?
I was just gonna say that. I'm like, usually like those mixing sessions, it's very therapeutic. It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
And talk about your sister, Raquel, right?
Yes. My
Because
sister,
I,
Raquel.
you know,
I call her Raquel. But
okay, Raquel. Yeah, no, but
yeah.
yeah, she's the one that I guess was taking you to shows when you were younger.
Oh yeah, for sure. She was like such a cool older sister. We went everywhere. We loved everything too. And it wasn't just like house or, you know, it was hip hop. We listened to ska. I mean, kind of anything she was into, I'd get into, you know, like my big sister. So she was into ska hella much. Like she was a bird. So I would go with her to ska shows, punk shows, bunch in like East LA, backyard party shows, gigs. Even at the Mountain Bar, which is called General Lee's now. Even I never made it to Unity. That was that big hip hop like um, party back in the day. I think like Wu Tang came. It was pretty legendary,
Oh.
but I think it was at the Grand Star Jazz. I think she went. Um, and yeah, and then she was in the house. All her college friends were hella cool with me. So they'd throw like house parties, and we'd, you know, just listen to bump house music. We love the Beastie Boys. We'd always go see the Beastie Boys anytime they were in town. I remember this one time we went to the House of Blues on Sunset, RIP. That was a really cool venue. And we had to ask our aunt for like $20 because the way that you would kind of sneak into the show is that you'd have dinner and then you just be able to go down to the show. That was like way before they changed all that. So I remember all her friends and we all like ordered water and salad. And then we went down and we got to see the Nonce and the Far Side. So that
Oh,
was one show that I was really like, wow, that was especially the Nonce. Like they are LA, you know, legendary MCs. And so we got to see them open for the Far Side. So yeah, she was hella cool with me, man. She'd take me everywhere. And I'm like 6 years younger than her, so she never treated me like, oh, you're annoying, or like she'd be like, come on, let's go, you know. So I'm really lucky for that.
and she introduced you to the arena.
Oh yeah, for sure. So all her friends, like we don't hang out. And so she would take me with them, and what she would do is like she would be in the front of the line, like in front of our little crew line, and with her ID, she'd pass it back so that I can get the ID and get in or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so I just remember like going and arena was cool because there was so many different types of people there. Like there was skaters, there was rebels, there was like drag queens, there was like club kids. I don't, not a lot of people
Yeah.
talk about the club kids, but their style and fashion was just like on 1000. Like it's freaking cool. I think they're even a little bit different than ravers, club kids, but yeah, I mean, we went. I remember going and just being like, "What?" Like,
The
that was
like,
around like 13 or 14 years old. I was pretty young.
yeah.
Um, and since I was with my sister, my parents didn't really trip. They were like, "Ah, you're with your sister, you'll be fine." And um, so yeah, the arena was legendary. It was like, you went to the arena? Shit. So in high school, I went to this high school that was totally just like totally full of rich, wealthy girls. My dad worked really hard for me to get to that school. It's Catholic school. So none of them were going to like the arena or any of that stuff, but some of the girls knew about it. So when I told them, they're like, "Oh my God, what? You went to the arena?" Like, oh shit, so that was pretty cool.
And because you mentioned club kids, I know like my only like probably like I guess introduction and I guess stuff that I know is that movie, um, Party Monster,
Hmm.
right? And they had like that was the whole club kid scene, right? But that was New York based, but I'm guessing it was all over the country, LA as well too.
Yeah, totally. Totally in LA. I remember Melrose would have like super dope stores that I'm sure Club Kids, I'm sure Club Kids were DIY too. Obviously, with like their platform, like Converse and all that stuff. I mean, that stuff is from back in the day. You still see it now, but it started like platform, Cortezes, all that was from Club Kids, like making their own shoes, and styles. So there was a store called Red Balls that had like every kind of like latex and plastic and any kind of like crazy thing you could put together in an outfit. They'd have it. Melrose was really dope back in the day. A lot of influence from that too. Just like really good record stores and just like a cool vibe, like just being down there was dope. You'd hear good music and see diverse people and like, yeah, just super different from now.
Earlier right now, like when we were talking, you mentioned that you were in the groover scene. Can you explain to the listeners what like a groover like is?
I think to me, like a groover, because I mean, I wasn't going to raves then. I was only going to like high school dances that were kind of like raves and clubs.
Yeah.
Um, so we'd pretty much dress like ravers. Like we'd, wear our Adidas jackets and our, Adidas kicks and high socks and just like be real creative with your outfit. Always have like a backpack on, like a little kid's.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that little.
Yeah, any like Sesame Street. We're super into Sesame Street. Always trying to come up with the cool name. Like I was Ladybug, and we were called me and my friend called ourselves the Crayola Kids. Like it was just like a fun time of creativity, where you take this like thing that was kind of like a kids thing and make it your own. Like there was a crew called Play School, a dance crew, and so you could totally pick out a groover in a wherever you're at, like just super huge jeans, like Jinko pants, or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like DIY, like beads. We would wear a bunch of beads, a bunch of toys. We'd bring toys with us as our little props, and when we dance, like I had like Buzz Lightyear. It was just a fun time to be a kid, like you could really kind of go back and be and have fun with it. So that's my definition. Like I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't really going to raves, so I was really just kind of going to backyard parties and high school dances and just dancing. I met some of my best friends through being a groover.
Yeah. And were you going to school like dressed up like as a groover?
No, I had a
A
uniform.
uniform. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would dye my hair. Like I had short, really short hair, and I'd bleach it and dye it different colors. And my school was pretty strict because it was just like a different vibe. So the principal, pulled me aside one day and she's like, "When is that gonna come out?" And I'm like, "When it
Oh.
washes out." Like my mom was hella cool. Like she was super, super cool with stuff. Like she let me dye my hair. She took me to get my nose pierced. Like, she was real chill about that stuff. She kind of like that too. She's very creative and loves style. I get my style from her. She's very stylish. So she never held us back from any of that stuff, our expressing ourselves, which was really important.
Yeah, big time. I agree with that. I would well, I always say if I have some kids, I'll probably let them just like just express themselves and do stuff. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna hold up on the kids for right now. I'll see. I'll see in the future. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm a
for
little.
sure.
But and then there is the rebels. Like, how would you describe a rebel? Because people would always say like they almost kind of look like greasers, or is that off to say?
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, they look like greasers. Their main influences like James Dean. Just super, yeah, that 50s kind of style. Always really polished look, you know. In the house music, dance, like they dance, do the rebel stomp. Like they'd stomp their boots. You knew their style right away. Like I said, you could pick out a groover, you could pick out a rebel. I don't know where the name came from. I think from that movie Rebel Without a Cause.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was like house music, what's it called? New wave, like kind of that whole scene. So it'd always be like rebels, groovers, kind of in the same realm. And the girls that were equivalent to rebels, we used to call them hoochies, but I don't like calling them that anymore. So I call them like go-go girls because a lot of them would like dance on the speakers or dance in go-go boxes. And you could pick them out too. Like they would just dress in the cutest little outfits with their high heels. Like I think I dressed like a hoochie to a couple parties just to see how it felt. Like you go to downtown to Santee Alley and buy these crazy huge platform high heels and yeah, it was a really fun time. Everybody had their own style, which was really cool, but we all kind of came together.
And what about the rebel bouts? Did you ever attend one?
No, I never went to Rebel Bouts. But I seen them on like now, looking back on videos and
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
what would go down. But no, I never went to those.
Yeah, when I interviewed Dean and then also too when I think Dean asked me, he's like, "Oh, are you gonna do an interview with her?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Tell her I said hi." So I'm passaging the message from Dean. He says hi,
What's up, dude?
and he told me about Rebel Bouts. He's like, yeah, he's like, they would like basically like sometimes fight, like a little rebel crew versus another rebel crew, and each would choose a fighter in a sense, and then they just kind of go at it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, but that's interesting how you said, the house music. Well, because I'm like thinking back about the interview that you had on the UCLA radio with DJ Nostalgic,
Mhm.
and you mentioned that house music, was for rebels, and hardcore, happy hardcore was dedicated for groovers.
Mhm.
And I find that was pretty interesting. I'm like, and then I think I thought about it. I'm like, I wonder if DJs got pressed, like for example, playing house music and maybe a groover come, like, hey, don't be playing that type of music or something. Did that ever happen, or everybody kind of respected each other's scene?
Yeah, I didn't notice that too much. Like groovers were in. I think everybody was into everything, but mostly, yeah, like happy hardcore was for us. But yeah, I mean, for me, I loved everything. So when they're playing house, I'm down. I'm dancing. But when the groovers wanted to get down, they would like grab a smaller person and start making a circle, like kind of grab them and then like throw them around. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but
Like, no way, like kind of like push them around in the circle.
yeah, like kind of like hold them and they're like going around a circle, their legs are pushing so that people would move out of the way so that they can open up a circle for the groovers to battle too. So it wasn't I didn't see much violence in the groover scene like where like they did rebel bout stuff, but I don't know, maybe there was, but I didn't personally see it, but we would always be into dancing dancing. And I would always love to watch the crews battle each other. I mean, some of them were so dope. Like, how the fuck did you do that? Like, I'm like, dude, if those dance shows were on back then, they would totally kill it. Like,
Yeah,
it
you
was
mentioned in your one of your interviews, what was the crew name or the that they're
oh,
really good?
Swing Kids. The Swing Kids were like the best groover dancers ever. In my personal opinion, they were the shit. Like when you knew the Swing Kids were coming, it was just like, oh man, you had to. So that's how I met one of my really good friends. Is that or an old friend of mine. We were at a Don Bosco high school dance, and they started like a groover circle, and I couldn't see. So there was a chair right there and some girl was standing on it, but I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna get on here too. So I got on the chair and she looked at me and I'm like, hi, like, what's up? I just want to watch too. So we were watching this battle and then we ended up becoming friends. And but she introduced me to my now lifelong group of friends. They all went to like Bishop Amat and I went to Flint Ridge Sacred Heart Academy. So I was on the total other spectrum. Like they were at a Catholic co-ed school where a bunch of like groovers, rebel, everybody under the sun was there. And I went to school with just like a bunch of rich girls.
Oh, so it was an all-girls school. Okay.
Girl school and some really dope. We had a boarding school, so there was international students. So I met people from all different countries. Made some really good friends. But yeah, so through like a swing kids battle, I met a good friend, and we used to rave all the time, and yeah, that was pretty memorable.
Ooh, and what are the DJs that were like you were hyped to go check out when you were raving in a sense, because you did mention you're going to different type of shows, ska, hip hop shows, but when it came to like the electronic, music scene slash raves, like what were some of the DJs that you were hyped to see?
Um, Definitely Richard Humpty Vision, DJ Irene, RAW, because RAW isn't just drum and bass, he was like a hip hop DJ too. I actually had him on my show on Casual Play a couple years ago, and we talked about how he actually battled J Rock and Juan one time.
Oh,
I was really like, what? And I remember one of my first memories of him was through one of his breaks mixtapes, and I think it was when he created the name RAW, because on the mix it says RAW, the Turntable Psycho. So it was like not even like his rave stuff that I remember him from, because I think my sister had that tape. So RAW, and then when I was really into jungle, APX1, Deacon, who else? Curious. There wasn't that, I don't remember that many women DJs back then. But I remember Valita and Rashida like a little bit later on. They were pretty dope in like the jungle broken beat scene. And then I think what's her name? I can't think of her name right now, but she's big in like the drum and bass world. But I never really seen her back in DJ Shorty. So yeah, those are like the people that I can think of off the top of my head. Oh, Doc Martin. Love
oh,
Doc
okay,
Martin.
yeah.
Frankie Knuckles, but I don't think he's from LA.
Yeah,
And
Frankie Knuckles, Chicago, right?
yeah, Chicago. Because we get a bunch of mixtapes from stores on Melrose, a bunch of like house mixtapes. Oh, Tony Largo. He had a show on Mars FM, which is a really dope radio show here in LA that played electronic music. Like it was just a really cool alternative radio channel. And he had a show that he played a bunch of garage music, but not UK garage. It was different. It was a different sound. Um, so yeah, those are some of the ones that I totally remember being hyped to see.
And you talked a little bit of like the backyard parties. Was that like the hard house like era in a sense, or backyard parties played, generally everything?
Yeah, I mean the ones you would choose to go to, I guess it would be like, okay, we want to go listen to hardcore, like, hard house or whatever. There'd be ones for that. There would be like rebel ones, that would play like
Okay.
house and new wave, and then some they would play everything, So yeah, those were fun. Those were really fun. I'd go with like just the homies, and we'd roll up and get kicked out and like try to go to the next one, you know. Um, but yeah, I remember going to ones in like San Gabriel Valley, Pomona. Anytime there was something, we just try to like roll deep, and just like go dance, you know.
Did you ever like party in San Bernardino or more like in the Inland Empire area?
For raves, yeah, raves I did. Like, what's that street? E Street. That was
Oh, is
the
it on Orange Show or anything?
Orange Show. Yeah, they'd hold like all the big raves out there.
Yeah, and they still do for the most part.
Yeah, I think Insomniac
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if what's it called was there Audiotistic.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
Autistic was in there. Yeah.
yeah, Audiotistic. And then yeah, like smaller jungle parties. We'd go anywhere that like RAW was spitting at, or you know, Deacon or any of them that we loved. We just like roll out. You know, whoever had a car, would be like. I remember this one time. It's pretty bad, but my homeboy, the one that I mentioned earlier that lived up the street. Shout out to my good friend Samuel. He he had a health issue, and we were so dedicated to going to this rave that he got in the trunk of the car,
Sure.
and we were all piled in. I think we're all sitting on it. Like, we were just basically like, let's all get in this car and go. And he was like, I'll get in the trunk. And we're like, dude, but you might. And he's like, I don't care. So we literally drove out to, like, I think it was San Bernardino, and like we'd be bumping music on the way. And then occasionally the homie would turn the music down. He'd be like, Samuel, are you okay back there? And he'd bump the trunk like to let us know he was cool. We were crazy. We would love, like, it'd be like, let's roll, you know. So it was dope though. It was like all your friends, you know, going to have a good time. So yeah, that was one memorable race.
Because I'm always curious because I live in San Bernardino, you know, so I'm from the IE, so I'm always just curious of like how much rave history, plays, or San Bernardino plays its part in the rave history. And but yeah, I remember when I talked to Subversive, he was showing me some old school flyers, and I saw Riverside, San Bernardino, and I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, so like that's interesting, that's so cool, and it kind of hyped me up, you know. I'm like, hey, hell yeah, there's a lot of history over here too.
Yeah, for sure. And my brother lived in Ontario, so you know, I try to like spend the night over there so I can go to parties over there.
Closer, yeah.
Yeah, and my nephew, he got into raving. He's, I think, like 10 years younger than me. He got into raving and DJing. He started to DJ too. So, but he was way younger than me. So, yeah, so he was a raver for a minute, but definitely the IE was the spot to go to for raves and underground parties and drum and bass parties and stuff.
And were underground like warehouse parties a thing in LA, or like when you were raving?
Yeah, for sure. I also remember like warehouse parties in the Bay Area, because when I moved to the Bay, that was like 98. I was still super in the jungle. And we would try to find like what's there to do in Frisco and Oakland. And Oakland had this legendary spot called Home Base, that you would go to for raves and warehouse parties and stuff. And then there was another place in San Francisco, very, very prominent concert spot called Maritime Hall, that we would go to see all kinds of shows. And I remember going to a jungle party there. And yeah, just like different warehouse, like you would have to call, or, you know, they'd have like a party line too. You would call in on like a Friday, and this girl, I think her name was Crystal, she would name off all the parties that were going on that night. So you'd call like Friday, Saturday, probably Thursday too, and you just like write down what you want to go check out and then figure out how to get there.
And why did you move was it San Francisco or just up north in general, or where did you move to?
I moved to Daly City, which is like close to San Francisco State University, because that's where I went for college. I moved up for college, and there was no more dorms, so me and my best friend had to figure it out. So we got an apartment in Daly City, and it was so expensive. It's still expensive, but it was like really like, whoa, you know. we weren't expecting that when we moved up, but yeah, we were still super into the scene, and I didn't know much about, I didn't know how rich the culture was in San Francisco, the dance culture. So when we got up there, we started making friends at school, and just like, the way we dressed, you could tell we were still kind of ravers. Um, so we'd link up with the homies and be like, yo, where's a spot to go to? We love jungle. So there was a spot called Rico's. That was so cool. I personally really love jungle and hip hop parties because it would be like a room of hip hop and a room of jungle. So it was like our friends, shouts to DJ Steve Wonder and Haleen, they would be upstairs playing hip hop, and then downstairs would be like jungle all night. So you can go in between. And I saw some legendary shows there. Like I saw bunch of LA folks like Freestyle Fellowship, Abstract Tribe Unique. That was one spot that was like really near and dear to my heart, called Rico's. And then people would just throw little spots. Jumping back to LA real quick, there was this random coffee shop on Main Street in Alhambra called Eyebrows. It was like when the internet first came out and people were like, whoa, internet cafes. Remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
cafe to go on the internet. So on like Thursday nights, it was so cool. They would like, stop the coffee thing or whatever, and they'd have DJs come in and play jungle. And
Oh
so
wow.
yeah, and it was like just random at this coffee shop. So we'd pre-party at my sister's now husband's apartment in Alhambra, and then we walk to Eyebrows and just like dance all night. So I think it was a lot of DIY stuff. People were more open to that, like using their spaces for people to come and dance and play music. I noticed that in Frisco and LA and Oakland.
And while living up north, you also mentioned that off the record, you mentioned to me that you worked at some record labels.
Yeah, I did. I was pursuing a career in like audio engineering, so being a producer in the studio, but that didn't really pan out. So I switched it up and went into music business. I met a friend I went to go see him DJ. I got super into broken beat, which is like a sound from West London, from like the later 90s, early 2000s. And our friend told us about this party called Passenger at this bar called Skylark. So I went and I met this dude. He goes by capital A, and we just vibed. And I was like, wow, I love this music. I don't even know what this is. And he was just telling me about it. He was like a MC in the whole scene. Then he told me like, hey, I work at this record label called Cosmic Flux on Lower Haight Street. Would you want to be an intern? And I was like, hell yeah. Like, oh my God, yes. So that was my first intro to like a record label. This cool little underground, literally underground. We'd walk down to our office downstairs on Lower Haight Street. And Lower Haight was cool because there was so much stuff going on. There was really dope record stores. Upper Playground was right there. One of my bestest friends, her family owned a grocery store, health food store on the corner where I worked. So it was a really cool time, really cool era. There was a dope club called The Top that was there too. And yeah, I actually, before I left, I was doing a little bit of A&Ring for the record label.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah, so I'd listen to like what we had, and I would be like, "Yo, this is pretty dope. You guys should check it out." So yeah, it was fun. It was super fun, just like free music and just getting into what it takes to put a record out.
Yeah, and I was gonna say like, so you got like a little insight of how the music industry kind of worked in a sense, or?
Yeah, for sure. And the indie side,
Yeah.
and it was crazy too. Like the owner dude, he was nuts, but he trusted me. That was the one cool thing, was that he like trusted my ear. Like he'd ask me like, "What do you think of this?" And I thought that was a compliment. He noticed that I really love music and I would go out all the time and go listen to music. So he would pull me aside and be like, check this out. Let me know what you think. If it's cool, give me your notes. So that was really dope. We'd like sit together and just kind of like listen to music. And I'd help him choose like cool shit. And yeah, I think that was like the first time I've ever kind of really thinking of stuff in that way of like putting things together musically. And because I still wasn't like thinking of DJing back then. I was just like a music lover, you know?
Yeah, in your interview with DJ Nostalgic again, I think that's when I found out that you kind of got into DJing like in your later years. I think maybe like what 9, 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yep.
I
When I
was I was so surprised. I was like, wait, what?
I know. When I moved back to LA, I guess it's just timing, I guess, when you're ready and all that. But yeah, when I moved back to LA, I was like, man, maybe I want to DJ. I don't know. I just thought of it because I had so many DJ friends in the Bay, and I would go see them spin and I'd go to their parties, and then I started throwing parties, and um I'd kind of curate stuff like, oh, I like this sound. If you guys can, I'd throw myself really big birthday parties, get like the best DJs to come. And then, yeah, when I got back, I'm like, I want to DJ.
That's tight.
So, yeah, so my first gig was my best friend's New Year's Eve party. She's like, why don't you DJ it? And I was like, cool, I'm down. Let's do this. I had to like get all my equipment. So I really want to shout out my brother because I don't really talk about him too much in my influences. But my brother Frank, we call him Checo. I told him that I wanted to start DJing, and he would go to pawn shops for all kinds of shit, And he's like, I got you a turntable and I got you a mixer, and I was like, what? For real? So he got me like a 1200, and he got me a little Newmark 2-channel mixer, and then I went on Craigslist and bought the other 1200.
Oh my God, that's so cool. That's tight.
Yeah.
But did he DJ or he just kind of he was just a music lover just like you?
Yeah, just a music lover. Like he's super into rock, classic rock. Like he's somebody that I look up to for that, that sound, that era. He grew up in it. So, and he loves to sing. He sings pretty good. Sometimes I'm like, okay, but no judgment. We'd roll out to the beach and he just blast his music, and I'm into it. I'm like, blast it. I'm down, like I love playing my music loud too. So I think we all have loss of hearing.
Tinnitus or something.
Yeah, for sure, because we all bump. But yeah, he's a music lover, definitely. He plays like guitar a little bit, I think we all like got that little bug in us. But yeah.
And you sing too though, or you recorded some vocals?
Yeah, I did. I'm actually gonna start doing that again. Talking to a friend right now. We're gonna start collaborating on some music. I've done stuff with Tatantan Devante. That was super dope. I was like, it was when I was working at this other record label that was based in Oakland called ABB Records. Pretty amazing hip hop label. And my friend, he was like, hey, we know this dude Tatantan. He's looking for vocals, and I know you sing. And I was like, do you mean Tatantan Devante? Like, what? I knew all that shit, So he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. So like, I hit up my homie to record at his spot, and I was all nervous, like, I don't know if he's gonna like it, like, and he put it on a freaking record. I was like, oh my God, like, are you serious? So it was only released in Japan, but there's so many like legendary people on it. I think it was like a 4 like song EP or something. I found the cover art online, but I don't know where the record's at. But yeah, Tatantan Devante. I actually have a 12-inch out on Sonar Collective because of Capital A. He did a remix, and I redid his vocals in like kind of like a spoken word style. So I have that record like on my shelf as like a reminder, like, hey.
Yeah, the Capital A one is Serve It Up, right?
Yeah, Serve It Up. And there's another one called In the Remix. That's the one where I'm doing the spoken word kind of vocal thing.
Okay.
It's on YouTube. It was actually on a Jazzanova compilation called Broadcasting. So I'm super honored to be on that, just because of all the people that are on it. I'm just like, what? Like, I'm on it? I used to go by my government name, Angela Blanca. So that's my vocalist name on that stuff. But yeah, and I collaborated with my gosh, I can't remember his name. A house producer out here. I'll send it to you so you know. You can probably edit this out, but
Yeah.
yeah, I love to sing. It's something I really love.
That's the I know when you told me that, I'm like, wait, what? And I looked up the tracks and I'm like, oh my God. I know the Tetonton Devante. I
Yeah,
think well, I found like something on Discogs, but I'm not sure if you can actually buy the the record.
yeah,
But I was like, oh my God, like that's super sick. Like I first just kind of see you as like as a DJ and then also like a radio host. Then I'm like, wow, she has production credits as well too. I'm like, that's like the whole the whole like package in a sense. You know, you worked at record labels, radio show, you throw your parties, you DJ and everything. I'm like, oh man, that's like the whole musical like, package that somebody wants to kind of do in a sense.
yeah. It's interesting to look back on everything and put it together like that, because it's like when you're in it, you're kind of just like grinding and like you don't realize it, you don't realize all the experience you have. And for me personally, so right now in this like odd time that we're in with coronavirus and everything, like it's kind of nice to sit back and look at those accomplishments and take it all in, like take all the grinding in. Like, yeah, you're where you're at because of what you've done, because I get, I get self-conscious, and like everybody, like with all the stuff I've done, I still get like, I still get nervous for gigs. And I just want the listener to have a really good experience. I want them to dance and feel good. And, I want it to be seamless and smooth. And that's when I always have fun, when the DJ is just like in it and having a good time. And, so when I look back and doing interviews like this, which I'm really appreciative of, is I remember all those things, that I've done. And it can be done. It can be done by anyone. You just have to like focus and know do what you love, and create an opportunity. Don't wait for anyone, like anything. You could do it now, so like you're doing, like we're doing right now.
Yeah, yeah.
um
I think people even tell me that like like these episodes that I'm doing in a sense they're just timestamps in history, because maybe like in 10 years we'll look back to this interview like, damn, remember when we were talking about this, or maybe you were starting something, you're starting something out right now, so you can look back to it and just be like, oh man, that's when I was starting this or I was doing that and I was just thinking about this, and then or again, this is the first episode presented by the coronavirus outbreak thing, because I'm
Corona soda.
I know for real. That's exactly what I was like. This is the first quarantine interview, and I'm gonna be doing remote interviews for the time being. So,
Yeah, well, I'm glad you continued, pushing on with it, because it's keeping me inspired. I think I've texted you that, like, thanks for the inspiration. Because it's hard during these times. We all lost a lot, and we're not the only ones, obviously.
yeah,
But you kind of just this uncertain feeling. You don't know how to feel sometimes, and I don't think there's a right or a wrong way to navigate through these times. Like, I see a bunch of DJs being super creative right now, doing live streaming, like just keeping people, dancing or listening to music, whatever, and then there's people that are just chilling and taking a break, and that's kind of like I'm kind of doing that a little bit, just kind of like sitting back and taking a break right now. But this is keeping me inspired, so I appreciate it.
oh no, man, thank you so much. Even just that, I know when you told me like thank you for keeping me inspired, I was like, oh man, like that meant a lot because sometimes I kind of just feel like, oh, I'm just doing interviews, just because I'm always curious about the history of everything, and that's like kind of like the basis that I'm doing this. Just as also like just to me learn, but when people give me this like reassuring like thing, I'm like, oh man, thank you so much. That means like so much. So thank you.
No doubt.
And when did you decide to go as Spiñorita?
um I used to, I just went by my name for long. I don't know, like that first gig, we were like Angie B or whatever, you're just like, whatever name. And then I think when I started taking it more seriously, or just kind of started in my mind thinking like, you know what, you could really like do this for real. Like like you can make mixes, you could do a radio show, like you have all these ideas. Why not come up with a cool name, instead of just like Angie or whatever, which I hate when people call me that. So my boyfriend at the time, who is one of my best friends now, he was helping me trying to think of some names. Like we're on the phone and we're just like going back and forth with these like stupid names, like just trying anything. Like and he's really smart and he's good at that. Like he's so good at just creative stuff. Like he's very very good at that. So uh we were going back and forth and then he called me and he's like, I got it. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, dude, I can't believe, like, I just can't believe no one has ever thought of this name or used it, but it's yours. And I'm like, what? And he's like, Spiñorita. And I was just like, oh my God. Like when I heard it, I don't know, man. Like just, it was just like instant smile. Cause it just encapsulates everything about me. Like Chicana, you know, DJ, music lover, spin is in there, you know,
Yeah.
with, you know, records or whatever. So yeah, when he told me that, I was just like, thank you so much. Like, you don't even understand how much I love it. So yeah, that was it. It was first it was DJ Spiñorita, and then I was like, let's cut this DJ out, you know. So right, it's Spiñorita, Spiñorita. Everybody always forgets to put the Enye, but it definitely is spelled with the Enye. So yeah, I love it. And oh my God, you don't understand. That's like the first thing anyone ever tells me is like, I love your DJ name. I'm like, thank you. So do I.
And we have to mention this, but how does it feel having the legend Qbert also digging the name?
Oh my gosh. I was like, oh, wow. Like, so I was going through old mixtapes and I found this one that I used to love of his. You know, he's like a Bay Area, like every DJ legend. So I put it up on IG stories, like, oh, who remembers this tape? And I tagged him and Qbert and Shortcut, sorry. Um, I didn't think they, you know, maybe like, oh, cool, you know, they saw it, you know, because of the story. And yeah, he hit me back and he freaking followed me. I'm like, oh my God, what? It was amazing. It was like that reassuring shit, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really dope. So I had to post it. I'm like, yo, Cubers, and my name is dope. So,
Yeah, my introduction to DJing, in a sense, was my best friend in high school. His uncle was into scratching and just DJing more than anything as well too, and that was my introduction, you know, to DJ Qbert, Mixmaster Mike,
yeah,
uh, just stuff like that. So I was just like, so when I saw that, I'm like, damn, that is so crazy. Like that's crazy. That's huge.
yeah, it's huge because I think too the name has an impact. Like it's like a name where you'll always remember it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
if you hear, it, you're like, oh yeah, I've heard that name before. Like so
Yeah, I this what was it 2 days, 3 days ago when I was at work, I was talking to somebody from high school as well too, and they're like, "Hey, how are you? Just catching up and everything." And then he's like, "Yeah, I see you doing that podcast. It's pretty sick." And I told him, "Oh yeah, I think this Monday I'm interviewing somebody named Spiñorita." And he's like, "Oh wait, I've heard of that name for sure." He's like, I for sure have heard of that." So it's kind of like, you know, how you said it sticks to them, you know. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's amazing. I'm so like humbled when people come up to me and they're just like, "Are you Spiñorita?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, you know, like, but I still have a hard time like introducing myself first and foremost as Spiñorita. I don't know. It's just, you know, I'm Angela at the end of the day. I'm a fan. I love music, you know, so I just come as the human that I am.
Which is dope. That's how people are. That's how you know when somebody's humble and they're a dope artist. I like meeting somebody who I'm just like super like intimidated in a good way, like nervous to meet them, and then you
Yeah.
come to find out they're like the dopest, you know, a dope human being. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, it kind of like breaks that wall of like, you know, because I used to be like that too. Like I still do. Like when I see a DJ I love or producer, I always go up to them and give them props. And like people will be like, "You're not scared? You look like a groupie." I'm like, no, because I'm not a groupie. I like
Yeah.
love their music. You know, I don't even if they think that, I don't care. Like I just go up and be like, I'm a huge fan. Like thank you so much for the music. You know, and so yeah, it's really dope when they also are cool as hell, you know, because I've met some people that I'm like, damn, I wish I didn't meet you.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, there's that saying, right? Like, I guess like don't meet your heroes, you know. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
when I first heard that, I was so scared. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, I'm not gonna talk to nobody who I like, just in case I don't
yeah.
like break that fantasy. But
I know. Yeah, you know, you gotta gauge it. You know, everybody's a human, and like, you never know what their day's like, what their life is like, so it's hard. But yeah, it's always fun.
Very true. True. Um, but talk about home base, your party, correct?
Yeah. So home base started over a year ago. It started with four resident DJs, DJ Mesme, DJ
Yeah,
Dolores,
check this out.
and Ali Gorgon. So I knew the booking person at the Ace Hotel, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like see what up, see if I can get like a night going, because I've always thrown parties. Like I've thrown parties since the Bay Area days, so I've been a promoter for a long time, and I had the itch to kind of throw something, have something of my own. So I approached these three amazing DJs about throwing a party together, and they were super down. So yeah, so we had some really dope parties, and for now I'm the only resident. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing, which I applaud them. I think it's so amazing. I know Mesme has her party, Misfit, and I see Dolores is working on some stuff, and Ali has LA 909. So yeah, so I'm heading home base every second Saturday. I'm sorry, second Friday at Ace Hotel. We're on hold right now, obviously. I had to make the decision to cancel the party in March. It was going to be myself and DJ Mama Bear, who's amazing. We're both vinyl and digital DJs, so I was really hyped for that one. She's one of my influences. She's basically the reason why I'm on NTS, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But yeah, I made the decision to be safe about everything that's going on, to cancel. And then the Ace canceled everything after that. But I had some legendary parties there, man. Oh my gosh. The one in February had Inkswell and Ed Seven out from Australia, and also Marco Weeble from Darker Than Wax, and their sets were fire. Like I'm a dancer, so I dance to everybody's set. All my guests, I'm dancing. I'm not like, making sure they're okay, have a drink or whatever they need, and I just dance. So I'm like a fan, like when they're there, I open the night, I let them have the golden hours of the night, and then I end it, which has been pretty fun because I've been experimenting with CDJs. So yeah, home base is still thriving. I'm gonna try and see what I can do while we're off on this time, or maybe just take a little break and then bring it back when we're ready to go.
Yeah, I think everybody's been saying that like the first parties that when after all this is done are gonna be crazy, just because I think everybody's itching to go out, so
I
everybody's
know.
gonna lose their mind.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm just like interested to see the economics behind it. That's the one thing that I'm like, are DJs going to be valued the same when we get back? Like, I don't know. Venues are going to have to go through so much, and are they going to have the budgets they even had before for us? Are we going to get paid the same? Are we going to get paid less? Are we going to get paid more? Like, are we going to get protected? I mean, there's so much DJs have to go through. We have no protection when we're out there, And I've been thinking about that for a long time. So I try to make my spaces as safe as possible for my guests. That's why I canceled the March party. And I'm just really interested to see the value of DJs, because as you can see with like D Nice, he just had like a crazy Instagram live party the other day with like over 100,000 people watching. And you could see the impact of music. And I just hope that venues and owners, and they realize how important we are to their spots, because you're fighting for money when you're out there. Like, shit, man. Some of those spots are like, I only got this. And it's like for 4 hours. Like, what? Like, so I'm really interested to see how it's going to bounce back. I'm praying for the best.
Yeah, that's true. That's yeah, that's a good point that you just made right now as well too. Like the value of the musicians and DJs. Just because I think I've heard as well too, like for example in Europe or something, I think the nightlife industry is a little bit more valued, like in government wise. I'm not sure if that's something true or compared to like LA and everything.
Hmm. Yeah, and I could say like when I started booking, I was supposed to go on tour this year. I had like a bunch of dates set up.
Yeah.
The booking fee alone, I was like, whoa, for real? You guys off top, that's how much you're paying? Like, wow. Okay, like super down in euros too, you know? I'm like,
Which is more
wow.
of a yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, I didn't have to fight to prove like, well, like I was in Forbes, I played at Grand Park for New Year's Eve, like, like the whole resume, like it was already off top, like, oh, this is what we have. I'm like, oh, what? So then I started trying to go for more, like, well, but yeah, it was great. It was working out smoothly, and then everything happened. So
Yeah, because you were supposed to go to what? Europe, Australia, Japan, or just Europe and Australia?
yeah, I was planning a tour in Europe, and then I have a contact, a good friend in Japan that we're talking about getting back out there. I did a little mini tour in 2019 in Japan, and then yes, in Australia. Ed Seven and Inkswell reached out, and they were like, "Hey, if you ever want to come, we can hook you up with gigs all over, and even in New Zealand." So I'm hoping to get to that space again and start booking those when everything is back to normal.
Yeah, let's see what happens because that's intense. I remember when I first kind of saw a couple of um just gigs being canceled and out of nowhere, like just snowballed. All the gigs of everybody got canceled,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, man, shit is real.
it's crazy out there. I mean, I feel for everybody, like people deal with it differently. Some people are being really creative. Like I said, some people are chilling out, some people are tripping out. I'm just like, I feel you. And like I said, there's no right or wrong reaction to this. It's really personal. Like you don't really know what people's lives are like. So it's hard to judge. And they like push people like, come on, do a mix or go live or like I just let people be. Like what I'm just praying for everybody. Like just be okay mentally, spiritually, emotionally. That's first and foremost. And then hopefully we'll get back, but it's gonna be different too. So I'm just trying to like see how I can prepare for that as well.
That's true. That's true. Um, and a little bit earlier you mentioned that Mama Bear, DJ Mama Bear, right? She's the reason you're on NTS, and that's Casual Play, your show.
Yes.
So that started in 2010, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2010. I started it as a podcast. I was working as a temp at the Writers Guild, and I was thinking of ways to like expand my, you know, everybody was always asking me what I was listening to music wise. Like, what do you listen to? You're always listening to new stuff. Like, how do I tap into that? So I was like, I should start a podcast, or something. Start recording, and I was always looking for new music, and I always wanted to push artists that weren't, getting a lot of shine. That was the era of blogs, like music blogs, which I miss sometimes because that was where you would go to look for music. Like, it'd all be in there. Like, you can look for all kinds of stuff. So we're all just kind of like a little music community helping people who didn't have the time to look for new music or didn't know where to go or were just stuck in like the golden era and didn't think that there was anything else but that. So I'd scan like the internet and look for stuff and then just talk to my friends who were listening to music. We'd send stuff. So yeah, I started a podcast called Casual Play. I did it off my laptop, and once again, my brother Checo, he bought me my my USB microphone to record it because I told him I wanted to start and I needed a mic, so he bought me one. And then yeah, I just started putting songs together, and I would talk about the artist and where you can buy or download their music. A lot of stuff was downloadable, like everyone would be on SoundCloud and have like a download link. So I started a newsletter where I'd put all the links that were downloadable in the mix and just put them up. But I wasn't really mixing it then. I was just more of doing it like a radio show. So I would like let a few songs play and then I talk about the artist and then go back and let them play. Um, so yeah, that was the beginning of Casual Play. And then I took a break for a little bit and then I got back on it. And that's how NTS happened because I went to London and Amsterdam for my first time in 2016. And I went with my good friend Veronica, and we met Mama Bear in London, and she had a guest spot on NTS. So when we were there, we were talking to the owner, and they were just starting to build the studio here in LA,
Yeah.
the NTS studio. So we're just chopping it up, and we're talking about Highland Park because it was, going to be in Highland Park, and it's kind of getting into that. But I wasn't an opportunist. I'm not that type of person. I knew this was Mama Bear's, time to shine. So I was just chopping it up. I wasn't mentioning anything about being a DJ. I was just like, I'm super excited to hear all the shows and stuff. I'm real humble like that. So I'm just like chilling, stepping back. So Mama Bear, in her thank you email to him, she mentioned me and was like, by the way, the woman that was there, I basically went to London with her because that's our music mecca. She loves Broken Beat, and she's like a well of knowledge of music, just like hyping me up, which I was like, damn. She's like, if you have an extra slot, you should give it to her because she is like amazing, all this stuff. And I was like, wow, thank you. So he hit me back and was like, wow, like you should send me a mix. And so I didn't even have a mix done by then. So I'm like, damn. So she came through again, and she got me my first like featured mix on this New York website called Recess. So I had to do like a 30-minute mix, and I liked it a lot. So I sent it to him, and he hit me back and he's like, wow, you played a lot of stuff I've never heard. Like, we'd love to give you like a guest slot, 1 hour, just a guest thing. And I was like, okay, I'm down. And then they hit me back like a week later. I was in Atlanta because I went to go see Daz IQ and Kaidi Tatham, who are both in the Broken Beat like scene. And Eric Lau was there, DJ Applejack. It was Daz IQ's birthday. We're good friends. We're out there hanging out at the Martin Luther King memorial site. And they emailed me NTS like, hey, would you like a show? We have 2 hours on Thursday. And I was like, what? Shit. So I was so juiced, like, so it was just like a really dope trip because I got to see my favorite producers, and then I got a show on NTS, and yeah, and then ever since then, it's been on NTS for 3 years, and I love it. It's amazing.
That's tight. So you've been there since day one, since the LA studio then.
Yeah, I've been there since day one. I remember seeing all the names on there, like, whoa, like they have some dope ass people on here. And then I'm like, oh shit, I'm on it. Like, I had to pinch myself, to be honest with you, because NTS is NTS,
Oh,
yeah, I mean, I didn't ever think like casual play would make it there, but it did. And I'm on a really good time slot. I got 2 hours. A lot of shows are just 1 hour, so I get to flex and have a good amount of time to play music and have guests and stuff. So yeah, I'm really, really thankful for that.
yeah, my friend, when I was doing a little promo, like, posting up your stories, and there's that picture. I think you have like two guests, and in the back it says NTS. My friend's like, yo, I want to be on NTS so bad. I'm like, dude, low key, everybody wants to be on NTS, like that's a reputable platform to say.
Yeah, I would say so for sure. Like it's one of the cooler, like, if you're gonna be on internet radio, I think NTS is definitely top three,
Sure.
So I'm super honored, and I try to, get creative with my show, and I like it to be, if it can, like have a base like of LA stuff, but I've had artists from all over. Like I did something with Bugs in the Attic. I had them on, which was wow. And then Ed Seven and Inkswell. I've had Roy Choi, the chef.
Oh yes.
That was I was like, I just ask. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask. If they say no, whatever. Like I knew somebody who worked pretty close with him, and I DJ'd at the Line Hotel a couple of times, and I just went for it. I'm like, shoot your shot, whatever. He could say no, it's okay. And my friend, she hit me back. Like I just put a little intro of what NTS was and all that, and she was like, he's down. I was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
gotta like get everything together with that, and then I had a really cool show, 2 shows with Guadalupe from
Oh
Veteranos
yes.
and Rucas. Yeah,
Map points, right? Or no?
Points. Yeah, Map Points and Veteranos and Rucas, and also the dude who's the creator of Fresh Drive. He was on my show
Yes.
with her as well.
That's one of my favorite episodes. I think you also had Dean Paul in there, whereas Dean Paul, Rick Klotz, and Guadalupe Rosales.
Yes, Dean, man, I wish I would have had him spin for longer. He's like wow, he's had so much knowledge of everything back then too. But yeah, I got him to come on, and we had such a good time. Like we are all just talking. We had friends that were part of the Swing Kids come and talk about their experience. Like I wanted to make sure everyone that was in, I had like these promoters that would throw parties, these party crew promoters come, and I just wanted to have different, perspectives of how we all grew up throughout that era on that show. So it turned out pretty dope, you know. I'm also interested in like how Latinos have contributed to the electronic music
Yeah.
scene, because it coming from LA and growing up in LA, and we had so lucky, like as far as music, there was so much. And I'd see so many Latinos like up there producing, DJing, like throwing parties, like ideas and all that, radio, whatever. And I'd love to try and document that somehow too. And I think your podcast is doing that too. I don't know if it's just centered on that, but I'd love to kind of like delve into how we've contributed to that.
No, yeah, I think like when I first like I always give everybody like a little threshold, a little basis of how I think when I got started or got
Mhm.
into electronic music because I didn't have any family members or any family members who were into that. So it was like 2009, 2010, I would say the little boom of electronic music. I think Insomniac was getting more popular and everything because I think EDC 2010 was the last one. The
Mhm.
Electric Daisy Carnival was the last one in LA in 2010.
Yeah.
So that's my introduction. So when I see that you started casual play in 2010, I'm like, damn, I'm barely getting started at that time, like.
Mhm.
But at that point, I don't know the history that Latinos have in electronic music. I could just keep thinking it's just European bass or something, and then little by little, I, get introduced to Detroit's history, and the birth of techno in a sense, what some people want to call it. Um, but like seeing the map points and then like your Instagram and everything, I'm like, man, like Latinos have a big influence or big contribution into this scene. So I get so hyped on that because I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. Um, yeah, and it's dope to see like when people ask me what kind of music I play, I say black music because it's all pretty much black music,
Yeah, and then yeah, honestly, like I think honestly like black people can not contribute, but they basically are like the inventors of every type of genre. Rock for sure.
Hmm.
Remember one of my media classes was like they showed us like some old school clippings before like Elvis and everything, like audio clips, and they're like, wouldn't you say it's like similar? So a lot of I think um black culture deserves a lot of like recognition of in just music in general.
Oh, for sure, definitely. Like yes, because I don't just play electronic. Like I play a lot of funk, like vinyl, uh, disco, electro, and yeah, I mean, it's true, and they don't get enough recognition. So thank you for
No, for reals, yeah. Big thank you.
yeah.
Um, and what? How did you come up with the name Casual Play? I always like asking those type of questions. Like what does it mean to you?
I was just at my desk at the time, like fucking around, like I'm bored. So I was just trying to put words together, like I always try to come up with names for stuff like parties, or I used to have this party called Mighty at ETA, and just always trying to come up with a name that has an impact. So casual play, those two words just went together so well. And I was thinking like players, like I can call the listeners players, or so once again, my boyfriend at the time, I hit him up because he's good at that too. So I hit him up like, "What do you think of this?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's dope. It's dope." Because like when it first started, I was playing a lot of hip hop, like a lot of like chill hip hop, funk, and all that. So kind of like went with that. But um, I think it's kind of like a mellowed out thing, but it's like California, and we're chill, but we go
It is, yeah.
through. I go hard, man. Like I'm the DJ that's gonna like turn it up. Like I hate to say it, but I'm not the best opening DJ. I always want to go hard. I'm like, play the jams. So I think opening at home base was a good practice for me because like I had to keep the vibe kind of mellow. I didn't want the to come in like, damn, like it's already, you know. So yeah, I think it's kind of has that Cali vibe to it. Like we're chill, but we go hard. You know, we know how to turn up. We like to party. Um, that's kind of what it means to me.
I like it. I like it. Um, and you also got to DJ for Sway in the morning and for Sway.
Yes.
That's crazy, but crazy dope. When I always say crazy, I always tell people I'm not saying crazy because like, damn, that's crazy, like, in a bad way. No, it's crazy, like, dope.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, that whole trip was amazing. Like I was getting ready to get laid off from my job, so I bought a flight to New York because I hadn't been out there in a while and I have a bunch of friends out there that I wanted to see and just like hang out with. So I bought like a 12-day, like trip out there. And I hadn't been there for a couple years. So when I went, I just started getting hit up like, yo, you want to spin? You want to spin? And I was like, yeah, I'm down. And then I ended up getting all these freaking amazing shows. Like, I'm like, whoa, like I'm playing with Ellie Escobar and DJ MoMA. Like,
Ooh.
I played on the Lot Radio twice with Darker Than Wax and my girl Zephyr Ann. I got to play with my friend Sean Dubb, a full vinyl mix, like vinyl all night. I played for like 3.5 hours. I flew with my records. And then the last gig was Sway in the morning. So it was kind of like hard because I kind of had anxiety the whole time of the trip because it's like, oh shit, I gotta do Sway still. And it was the day I was leaving, so there was no like breathing time. It was like the last thing I was gonna do in the morning, early morning, and it was at like the hub of every dope thing in New York. Like Jimmy Fallon was down the street, and like all these legendary New York things were in this one area. So you're just there and you're just like, whoa, So yeah, I invited my friend Kelly and her brother. They came with me just to have like a little emotional support. Like, like we're going to Sway. I don't want to go by
Always
myself.
needed, yeah. It's always needed that emotional support. Just a homie, just even if they're not gonna do something, but just you can look at them and just be like, all right, cool, we comfy.
Yes, exactly. And she's such an amazing supporter, my friend. So she's like, I'm down, girl. I'll meet you there. Like, let's smoke a joint. Like, I'm like, I can't even smoke. Like, I gotta like. And then, shouts to all the homies. My friend DJ Tara, she let me practice the night before. And big shouts to my friend D-Funk. He's the reason why I got on there. He hooked it up through his friend, who's the booking guy, DJ Wonder. And when I was planning New York, he's like, yo, want to do Sway in the morning? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, okay. Like, shit. So yeah, I went and, Sway was the coolest person ever. Like, so chill, so kind. Like, everyone in the room was hella cool, but he was like, I don't know, man. I think people from the Bay Area, dude, they just have this different vibe to them. Like, just no ego, no like, just homie straight up off the bat. I mean, they know what up. They could read vibes. So, yeah, when I walked in there, I was just myself, not trying to be nervous, just chill. And he was cool. He's like, "Are you from the Bay?" And I was like, "No, but I lived for 10 years." He's like, "I could tell."
Hey.
Yeah, so it was amazing. Like I got to do a mix, and then I thought after the mix I was just gonna leave. Like I was like, "Okay, bye." Like I'm out of here. I'm not, part of the show anymore. And he's like, "No, no, stay. Like stay. You can stay." And I was like, "Okay." So then this dope actor from Sterling Brown from like This Is Us came as a guest, and this super amazing Afrobeat artist DeVito was supposed to come, but he flaked it. I was supposed to play an instrumental for him to rap over. I'm like, oh my God. Like, so he's like, dude, you ready? And I was like, oh shit. So he literally had me a part of his show. Like he was asking me questions on air, and talking about my name. And it was something that I'll never forget. And he was so kind, and the crew was amazing. And he gave me his number. He's like, hey, if you ever want to ask me questions, I'm here. And I was like, wow, for real? And I've texted him before, and he's definitely hit me back, like, yeah, like, what up, what do you think of this? Good idea, whatever. So, yeah, I can't believe it sometimes.
I love his interviews. It's just just because he seems like like a chill guy. Like in just the way he responds to people and the comments that he says and everything. I'm like, bro, like I think if I were to meet Sway, it would be the best thing ever.
Yeah, dude, I was like, yo, wake up show, man. Like, over anything, over MTV, over all the things he's
Yes,
done.
that was the introduction to MTV, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually interned with his partner on the Wake Up Show. I interned with him for a while, and I fixed up their website and just like consulted, gave ideas, and he told me a lot of crazy stories about the Wake Up Show, and so I told Sway about that, and he was like, "What?" So, I think just having that history and like having my background, we kind of just like had like a really good connection.
And Sway's from the Bay.
Yes, Sway's from the Bay.
Okay.
I think he's from Oakland.
Oh, okay. Sick. And you mentioned because for the most part, I thought you were well you are primarily vinyl DJ.
Mm-hmm.
You also mentioned digital, but I was super surprised as well too in your UCLA radio interview that you said you only had a handful of CDJ sets.
Yeah, I think I'm half digital, half vinyl. But honestly, like if I could play vinyl more, I would. I don't know why. I love vinyl. Like it's just a different experience, I think, for the DJ. Like I just feel like you're in it more. Like you
Yes,
don't
it
have,
keeps you on your toes for sure.
yeah, like you don't have a screen. You have no screen. Like with CDJs, it's kind of closer to vinyl, just because you don't have like you don't have the opportunity to fix the song to really fit. Like to sync up. You don't have the visual to do that. You still have to rely on your ears, but you still have the waveform in front of you. But vinyl, man, like, and I don't BPM anything. Like I'm just like challenge on the go, like just how can I mix these two songs together? And it's really like putting you in the mix. Like you have to be on it, like you got to write it and like keep it, so yeah, but to be honest with you, I was kind of scared of CDJs. I'm like, I don't know how to play them. I don't know anything about them, so I kind of avoided it and then record box, all that thing. I'm like, oh no, I have to do another thing. And, it just seemed like daunting. And then finally I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. And I like it. I've had some experience with like, oh my God, I feel like I'm learning to DJ all over again. Just because not setting cue points and all that, like the stuff you do, but it's cool. It's fun. I love rolling up with just my headphones and a USB. Man, that is so dope.
That's the main reason that I want to switch over because I'm a tractor DJ. Well, first I started off with Serato. That was my introduction again with my friend in high school. But then tractor's been the main thing. And but I just recently I'm like I think I'm just getting tired of taking my laptop and my computer, just my backpack. I just would rather just pull up with my headphones, USB, and we're set.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, I feel like in the electronic scene, that if you're still bringing like your laptop, like it's kind of like I don't know. I've got
No, they look at I don't know. I've seen as well too. Like luckily, like some of the people who like I've DJed for, they're cool about it. Like no problem, man. Anything you need, we'll set you up. What you need, you feel comfortable, go for it. But I still feel like my peers. Well, I don't say my peers, but I'll see some people still look at like kind of like okay, you're still a laptop DJ.
Yeah, and everybody who's booked me has been hella cool too. It's just like bringing a whole controller and then like, I'm just like, let me make it easy for everyone, like let me just be able to just plug in and play after the next person, not like RCA and like
Yeah,
get like I don't want to deal with that anymore.
I'll still mix in and out to the to whoever's playing just because I'm like I don't want to just stop the music, but
Yeah,
I do see what you're saying, the RCA part, like you have to like plug in, take it out, whatever, and then maybe like wait when is it appropriate time to unplug your stuff and then pack everything up, and then but then I think if you stick at the party, I'm holding onto my laptop and my backpack and everything, so I just feel like a little bit too geared up.
yeah, I feel the same, but I feel with vinyl, it's kind of like, oh shit, you're bringing vinyl, woo.
I know people do look at it like that's dope. Like, oh, dude, and they're playing vinyl and it's a clean set. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, that's what it's like. Oh, yeah, you're doing it, you know. Um, but yeah, no judgment on anyone who I'm not that type of person that's like vinyl only, you know, like nah man. I think it's good for DJs if you want to have like a career longevity, like wherever that is now. But like I think it's good to I just tried Tractor for the first time like last Sunday. I had this really amazing opportunity to teach and talk at this class at California City Prison.
Oh,
And
wow.
so with that, like I can't just bring my own laptop or my own USB, even my own headphones. Like it has to be regulated because of like all the red tape around, you know, the prison. So the organization is called Give a Beat. They use Tractor. So I'd never used it before, so I had to borrow their controller and the laptop that had the software in it, and just kind of like mess around with it because it's a little bit different than Serato. So yeah, I mean, sometimes you never know what the spot's gonna have. You know, they might not have. I feel like a lot of electronic spots or a lot of clubs were gearing are really um, going towards CDJs.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
not even turntables. Sometimes I'd be like, oh shit, they only CDJs. So that was another reason why I was like, let me get with the times. And then in Europe too, like a lot of places are CDJs. You know, and then who wants to travel with records? I mean, I did it, and it was like, oh shit, you know. So,
Do you have one of those little cases that that have all the vinyl, like the little silver type case that I see people carry around?
you know, I bought this bag from Target that's like a travel bag that has rollers on it because it's just too heavy. Like when you're traveling, you can't carry it, you know, it's too much. So I just asked my DJ homies who travel a lot, like, what bag do you like? And I bought a bunch of them and then I returned them because they were either too big or like it's just too much. And then I ended up, my friend told me this one about that was at Target and it worked out. Like I went to Japan and I brought records with me. And then I went to New York and brought records and it's worked out. But I want to buy like an actual DJ bag that has like for travel, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But who knows? I mean, who knows now? But yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I try to bring like a good set, and then when I get out to wherever I'm at, I'll just go digging. So it gives me an excuse to go to their record stores and actually dig because I have to add to my set. You know.
Do you have any tips when people go digging, for example? Like, what are like what's a like or I don't think there's a proper way to go digging, but like what's your routine when you go digging?
Um, I I like I just like to look through everything. You know, you just never know what you're gonna find. Like, don't stay away from the bottom racks. Like there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Like there's some record stores that are like packed. But just find a little corner and just try to like go through as much as you can. If you don't really see a lot coming out of that corner, maybe you can like move on. But I try to go through as much as I can in a record store as possible. Um, bring something to wipe your hands down because then you dusty as hell, especially now.
Oh yeah.
Bring a little snack if you decide to, you're gonna be in there for a while, because you get caught up. Like when you start finding good stuff, it's just like ooh, and then you gotta wait for if they have a listening station, you have to wait. If somebody's already listening. So if you have a little stool, if you can bring it, but if you have strong knees, don't be afraid to like get down and dirty and get your fingers in there. And then what else? Just I don't, there's a lot of stuff I don't know. Like I don't know a lot of deep cuts of like funk and disco. So I have a digging crew called Club Diggies that I started, I think maybe like a year ago, where I just thought it would be a good idea to get my friends together to go digging together. And then whoever kind of knows a certain genre, I'll ask them like, yo, do you see anything that is kind of dope? Or like, I like funk slappers, like hard funk stuff. So I'd tell friends like if you see anything like that you don't mind like giving up, or if you have it already. So having a friend with you that may know a genre you might not know, and you kind of want to get into it, that helps. I know a bunch about house and broken beat and electro and stuff. So whenever I see something, I give it to a friend, like, yo, this is dope, check it out. And yeah, there's no real right way to do it, like you said. I always look for the bargains too. I'm not like a big hardcore collector of like no reissues, and I don't care about that stuff, so whatever.
Have you gone to Dr. Free Clouds? I think it's in Fountain Valley.
Hell yeah, I gotta go back. Gosh,
I think that was probably like a dumb question because I think everybody like in the rave scene knows about it.
oh yeah, he's an OG for sure. I went and I got Jacob's Optical Stairway, which is I believe it's For Hero before they were For Hero, or Mark Mack or something like that. German, like a classic German bass record. I found it there, which is so dope because I found it at Amoeba like years ago, and I don't know why I didn't buy it. I was like, what? So, anyways, I went and found a bunch of other stuff, and I told him like, hey, like, I remember you from back in the raving days. He just has like all this really cool memorabilia from like back in our days, and I was just like, I'm so glad you're still around, like doing this, and it's bringing me back and stuff. And hopefully, I can have him on my radio show. I would love that. He was definitely a DJ that I would go check out.
Yeah, Ron Decor.
Ron Decor, yeah, Ron Decor was definitely somebody that we had his mixtapes, and yeah, for sure.
Just very quick, because I wanted to ask you that you went. Do you remember when like Insomniac started up?
Mm-hmm.
Because like right now, of course, it's like a household name, just commercial wise and everything. But Ron Decor was playing those Insomniac events as well.
Yeah, yeah, Insomniac was where we would go, like raves. Just
Do you still go to any of them or no?
no, I not really. I just throw my own stuff now, I went to Respect not too long ago because I actually bought records from R.A. Dub, and he had him. He brought them with him to his set of Respect. I'm just like, damn, Respect still goes on. Woo!
Yeah, I think they just had with DJ Craze in the beginning of the month.
Oh my God, what is it? 30 years? Something crazy. Like they had Respect when I was younger. Like, dang. So that was cool to like jump back in that whole scene. It's changed, of course, but yeah, I mean, I went to Respect recently, but yeah, I just mostly throw my own stuff now, kind of mirroring my experiences from back in the day.
Which is dope. Do you consider that you're becoming like an OG in the scene overall?
I don't know. I mean, maybe if I like produce music or something, but I guess it's up to whoever's like thinking about it in that way. I'm just like a party animal.
Well, that's the thing though. Like, 'cause you said like producing, like, well, not necessarily because, like, a DJ is a DJ, a producer becomes, but you're also like, you've done everything. So I can see you producing music. You did work on records, vocals and everything. Um, so that's composing in a sense, right?
Yeah, I just downloaded Ableton 10. I've wanted to make beats forever, so I'm just like trying to navigate how to work with the interface, because I do have a degree in audio engineering and sound design, so I've worked in like Reason. I've also worked on the analog boards, which was really cool. Like we recorded like live sound, bands, all that stuff on this really dope board in college. So I have that experience, but you got to practice, and I haven't done that in so long. So I think DJing helped me to use my degree in a sense, because you don't want your college degree to be nothing, So I feel like it's brought that back to me, and I'm grateful for that, being still kind of in the audio world. But yeah, I definitely plan on making music, especially now that there's time to sit back and learn something. And I think I'll pick it up quick because I've worked in GarageBand, Reason, Pro Tools, so I'm just excited to like try stuff out, and see what comes up.
do you have any tips for like, the younger, I guess, like, or kids basically coming into the scene? Maybe me as well too. I'm telling you, like, I'm probably been only 10 years in doing this, so and you have way more. You started your radio show in 2010, and I was barely emerging myself into the scene. Do you have any tips? Some people just entering the scene, and it could be any type of tip. Doesn't necessarily like have to be
Yeah.
like a specific tip, but just anything overall.
Um, I would say, whatever makes you happy, go for it. If it's dancing, if it's like just being around your friends and listening to good music, um, if you want to produce, if you want to do anything in it, just go for it. Like I always say, don't wait for an opportunity, create an opportunity. Um, I think that's what's made me work so hard is that, that's kind of my mindset when I have an idea. Sometimes I just throw it out there, like, and I don't, might not even know how to do it, but I just throw it out there and see if it sticks. And if it does, then I have to learn how to like keep it going. So I'm really a big believer in creating your own destiny in that way. And then do stuff for yourself too. It doesn't always have to be for everybody to see. It could just be for your immediate friends and family. And then keep the good people close to you. You never know what's going to happen, and you always want to have your day ones by your side, because those are the real true people that are out there, like having your back. So you always want to remember those folks, and then yeah, and then just using your experience to create new ones. Like talking to you, I'm like realizing how much I've done, and it's hard to sit back and look at that sometimes because you're always working so hard, to
Yeah.
keep going to the next level and the next level. Like I'm always trying to level up in some way. So right now I'm watching a lot of DJ videos to get better in DJing, because I feel like there's always something to learn. Like always, you can either sit back and be happy where you're at, or you can keep on getting better. And I feel like that's the only way to have longevity in something like this. So I'm taking the opportunity to get better at DJing. I didn't learn from anyone. I pretty much taught myself. I do have to shout out my friend, DJ Antique. He was the only person that really, and my friend Shred One. They were the ones that kind of like came over and showed me stuff. I went to Antique's house and he showed me how to use Serato. But other than that, like practicing every day, learning vinyl, like that was all me. So if you love it, like keep going. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let yourself stop you, because we can be our worst critics and like all that. Just try to put that stuff aside, and don't stop. If you're really into it, keep it up, and yeah, just be happy and play good music.
No,
And
I
yeah,
like. Oh
cool.
no, I liked when you said right now, like, just sometimes you do something, and you don't even know if you're doing it correctly. It just reminded me of that little clip, that you thought it was funny, the way my friends edited it when I'm recording, I'm interviewing my friends, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I basically said that because they told me, they're like, oh man, like since day one when you started this podcast, I told you like that's dope, something dope that you're doing, and I'm like, dude, I started it. And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing, like I just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna start it, let's see what happens, and now it's gonna be 2 years in September, so.
Wow, congratulations.
Oh
Good
man,
job.
thank you. It's cool, and I just like the way it's going. Or just the people I've been talking to, like for example, you, Dean Paul, Subversive, and just up and comers, like for example, Annika Wolf, a good close friend of mine.
Oh
Third
yeah, she's
project. Yeah, shout out to Annika. She's doing a lot of cool stuff.
yeah, she's awesome. It's so cool to see so many women doing our thing. I mean, I think we were doing it for a long time. Obviously, I mean, I've been doing casual play for 10 years, but we're finally taking the platform for ourselves and really broadcasting what we do now, and it's out there. We're out there. We're not, behind the scenes anymore, which is cool. I think women have a different way of playing music and presenting music to the crowds. We ingest music differently, so putting it together is it's a different vibe. And I'm super grateful to be able to do that for people.
Oh man, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
But what inspires you today? What's keeping you, well, besides the little coronavirus quarantine, but like what's something that's been inspiring, maybe 2019 or something recently, or just something that's been always been inspiring you, and makes Spiñorita.
Um, 2019 was like my best year ever, to be honest with you. Like, not even just career wise, but just like personally. I took care of my health more. I focused on that, and that was like life changing. It changed my perspective as how I think about things and my happiness, my confidence. And I think that's really important, especially for artists. There's a lot of competition out there. There's Instagram. There's all these things that come at us that we feel like we have to do, or, and it can be a lot, So I think taking care of your mind is important, the most important thing. So I did that in 2019 and still continue to do that. And then just like all the good music that's constantly coming out, there's just always something that's like, damn, like this is so good. So like when I hear something, I already start thinking of how I can play it, like what can I put this on casual play? Should I play it in this mix? Like you thinking about your show, like what am I going to play, and always constantly looking for new music to buy and to support artists. And yeah, I think this downtime too is a good time to reset, reset my mind and everything like that. So I'm enjoying this little break because I'm used to gigging all the time, like I was gigging like shit every weekend, every month, so it's just nice to take a little break. But yeah, my records keep me inspired, my family. This episode was really cool. Casual play, and people who come see me and they really love how I play. That's fucking awesome. Like the guys that I met at California City correctional facility, they were so dope, dude. Like they already knew my name. Like homeboy was like, I've been waiting a week to meet you. Like,
Oh man.
I mean, they asked for my autograph. I'm like, autograph? I don't even know how to sign it. Like,
Like I still don't have a Spiñorita signature.
yeah, like I think honestly, for sure, that was like my best gig ever. Like over everything, over Tokyo, over like that human experience. I'll never have that again because I'll probably never see them again. So the way they impacted me and the way I impacted them, like it'll be for a lifetime. So I think that was my best gig ever. So yeah, that's pretty much what inspires me. And I always have ideas. I love thinking of stuff, and there's certain songs that I'll be like, oh shit, I need to like start playing, So yeah, I'm pretty good at keeping myself inspired, and other friends and producers and other DJs and supporting other people. I think that's what helps.
And who are some DJs specifically from LA that are like inspiring you, or holding it down in your perspective?
Mama Bear. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Mona Lisa, DJ Fatrick. I know I'm like forgetting so many people right now. And then outside of LA, Kush Jones,
Oh,
DJ Swisha.
yes.
Um, who else? Man, I'm blanking. That feels so bad. Digo from Four Hero. Cheryl from London. DJ Noir. The whole Juke Bounce work.
Yes, yes.
I'm so lucky to be friends with a lot of these people. DJ Bebe, DJ Kita, DJ Top 10, Darling Chuck. I could go on and on, But yeah, I'm listening to a lot of stuff from the East Coast right now. Like I said, Chris Jones and Swisha are like murdering. Like they can do almost any genre. I feel like RAW obviously. Like he
Yeah,
will
of course,
always be,
yes.
like I think I did a set of just Kush Jones and RAW stuff recently at the Half Moon BK rave I did.
Oh yes,
Shout
yes.
out to Half Moon BK. They're great supporters, and I feel like they're the next NTS. Um, I did a set at the rave they had, and I threw it back to like just jungle straight up, and I got to play a bunch of Kush, a bunch of Addison Groove. I played a lot of Addison Groove stuff and a lot of RAW stuff. So yeah, there's so many people. God, I'm feel bad I'm blanking, but yeah, those off the top of my head.
Do you know who Momo Reddy and
For
Ace Mo?
sure. Yeah, Ace Mo, Momo
Yeah.
Red, and
I love them so much. I went to Rhonda, I think was it in February last month, and I
mhm.
saw Momo Reddy, and I was like, literally, I was only because I had work the next day, so I was just gonna be there for a little bit. But as soon as I saw Momo Reddy, and then like I was just kind of over it. I'm like, you know what? I already saw Momo Reddy. I'm good. I'm gonna go home. And then I left.
Oh dang.
But it was like perfect. I was just so satisfied just to see Momo Reddy. I even messaged him, I think on Instagram. I'm like, yo, man, awesome set. And I'm like, I'm already heading home. And then he's like, I'm on my way to the airport. So we both like, he did his gig, then bounced, and I went to go see him, and I bounced. So it was
Dang.
hilarious just to kind of see that.
Oh yeah, I feel like the East Coast is really killing it right now as far as the dance music scene. Like Jada Lorraine, Niara Sterling, they're holding it down out there. A lot of women doing it. Um, yeah, it's just like so amazing to see that. So, and then a lot of youngsters in LA too. There's a lot of the the scene is lucky. The scene is lucky for all the talent that's coming up in the younger scene. Shout out to Beat Cinema, all my homies out there, and Funk and Even, Stephen Julian. I love Apron Records. Everything they put out is amazing. And Byron the Aquarius, I love his stuff. I mean, like I said, I could go on and on. I could go on and on, but yeah, I mean, yeah, ASMO, all that. Yes, yes,
No,
yes.
it's hard. It's hard to cover like like everybody. So that's why sometimes people after the recording, I'm like, yo, I forgot to mention this person. I'm like, no worries, man. Like, well, my point is no worries, but I understand why. Like, oh man, I forgot to add this person. I forgot to add this person. I'm like, because there's so much talented people, so it's understandable. If you were to miss somebody out, because to ask the questions on the spot and just be like, oh shit, like, but no, it's understandable. So if anybody's missed out on this, just know you're taking into consideration for sure.
Yeah, and you're probably in one of my mixes, definitely.
Um, do you have any plans for casual play in the future? Maybe this year or
um, I have my parents on as my next guest, so that's going to be interesting. I hope it's funny and like heartfelt and cool, and going to talk to them about music, and because they always talk about their stories about like these parties and like when and I think you put on the flyer for the podcast Backyard Party Records. That's
yes,
something that
yes. I was just
hopefully
gonna ask that too.
will hopefully come about. So I'll talk about that when you ask about that. But we would throw backyard parties all the time, like at my house. We have the perfect backyard for it. We have DJs, just like amazing parties. Um, so I'm excited to talk to them about that. And then I've recently been doing a bunch of like takeover shows. So I'll have artists and DJs take over my show for the full 2 hours or send a mix of like 1 hour mix. And it's been so cool. Like I've had bomb. Like I'm just like, wow, like my girlfriend from Brazil who are also on Apron Records, like their takeover of my show was the shit. Like I go back and listen to it all the time. And then I had my boys out in Paris who I was supposed to go play with. I'm coming. But when everything chills, Sample Delivery, shout to them. They blew me away. I was just like, whoa, like you guys get down like that. Like I was like, I am so excited to come play. Like they go hard, dude. They footwork, techno. Like, I mean, I even hit him up, my boy Suzmo. I was like, yo, man, I'm playing this rave. You got any tracks? And he hooked me up. I'm just like, whoa, y'all get down. So they did a show for me. Lady Monix out of Detroit. She's killing it. She did a show with me. It's such a blessing, man. Like I'm so honored. So probably more like takeovers, more takeovers. And then yeah, maybe more shows just of me playing. I used to do that a lot at the beginning, just me DJing. So maybe I'll go back to that too.
I would love that. I would love that for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so talk about backyard party records.
Yeah, so like I always have 1,000 ideas. So I'm like, I should start a record label because there's so many talented folks out there that I would love to like put a track out with them or like a 45 or something, like contribute to the sound somehow. And then when I start making music, I can start releasing my own stuff. So I thought I've always had the name Backyard Party Records because of that. Like we're known for that at our house. Like we had this epic Halloween party every year. Like people would look forward to it, like get their costume ready. Like, we'd have a bar, like it was just, we decorate like crazy. Like, and anytime there was a celebration, we'd have a party at the house, so DJ. And for my 35th birthday, I had this big 90s birthday party. So I dressed up like a groover, of course. And yeah, I mean, that's how we would get together, my family. And I think that's how I like really learned how to become a promoter from my mom and everybody putting parties together. Like you had to have good drinks, you had to have good music, you had to have good food, you had to have the guest list, you had to have, plan everything. So you kind of already knew how to throw a party because you'd see like your family doing it. You got to wake up early and clean the house and like clean the backyard and get it, all that stuff. So I love that. I love throwing a party. I just had my 40th birthday party in our backyard. We had a taco man. I DJ'd the whole night. And it was dope. And it'll never stop. We'll always have parties at my backyard. So the next one I got to invite you to, man. So
Yes. I actually want to meet your parents so bad just because like, oh man, like I don't know, in a sense they were a big influence of like, for sure that's when I'm gonna tune in April 9th. That's gonna be your casual play episode.
Yeah.
So when I saw that I was like, oh my God.
I know they're funny. I hope it goes smooth. I'm like, I don't edit a bunch of stuff out. But I think it's gonna be cool. Like I'm gonna try and do like an extended version on my SoundCloud, and just kind of like see how they grew up, like all their stories. I mean, that's dope, like dang, I don't know. It's just I love their stories. So yeah, I appreciate you looking forward to that. And they're so chill. They're always like, what? Oh, cool. Like, they're my biggest supporters. Like they are so amazing. Like when I lost my job and I decided to pursue music fully, I thought my dad, because my dad's old school, like, well, you're a Latino woman, you should, all that stuff, be a mom and all that. But I asked him straight up, like, are you proud of me? Like, are you like, because I went to college, I did all that, and I'm thinking he's probably like, damn, you're a DJ, But he's like, of course, like, look at all you've done, like, I'm always proud of you. So that made me really happy. That was something that was like really, really cool for me. Because you always want your family to be proud of you.
Yes.
Yeah, mom is like such a supporter. Like she'll buy my t-shirts, like she won't even just be like, give me one. Like she'll give me the money for it. I'm like, Mom, no, like, no, it's okay. And she's like, no, keep it, like, and she tells all her friends about me. Like all her friends know I went to Japan and like DJ, she wears her Spiñorita shirt. Very limited, so she's lucky.
A rarity. I actually need some stickers if you have some, when we're able to go out and meet up and everything. Save me some stickers. I'll purchase that. Even if you make some t-shirts, save me one extra large. I'll pay for it. Pre-order it if necessary.
Yeah, I was thinking of making like a Shopify like store where you could just order it and it'll get to you. But I don't know. I don't know how
Well,
people are.
people use Bandcamp. I know Bandcamp you can put merch, so you can use that as well too.
Yeah. I'm trying to see like I already had people I was supposed to mail stickers to, but I think right now I'm not sure how everything's going. So I'm like, let me not, let's wait and stuff. But yeah, I got you, dude. I got like a whole sticker pack. So I got
Yeah.
stickers with a pin, a Spiñorita pin. It's funny because like I ordered these pins and I ordered it too big. I ordered them too big. I wanted those little tiny like
I know what you're talking about.
pin. Yeah, that's perfect for your jacket. And it's like way bigger. I'm like, oh man. So like I just
It's it
give
it's
up.
as big as like those political, like maybe like election ones, you know.
Yeah, like damn, you repping Spiñorita hard, but that's just being an inexperienced, like, oh well, like I'm gonna order pins. You live and you learn, man. You live and you learn. So you'll get the 1 of 100 because I ain't gonna order those
The
again.
more again.
Yeah, so and I was very fortunate to get two really amazing logos by one is by Spec One. He's the co-owner of this store called Mi Vida in Highland Park that I have to give a big shout out to because they were big supporters of me when I was like really starting to pop off here in LA. I threw a party there when I launched my website. It was just basically a party to like get my friends together and like just have fun. But everybody's like, "Whoa, are you opening the store?" And I'm like, "No, it's just my website," Um, so they allowed me to use their store and Spec. He wrote my name huge on the wall. So at the party around the wall, people wrote their lyrics to their favorite songs around my name, Spiñorita. I have a picture of it. And it was so amazing. Like it was fucking dope, like and the vibe in there. And I had made a little speech and thanked my sister for all her influence in my family. So shouts to Mi Vida. And then through Mi Vida, I met the legendary, my favorite artist ever, Chaz Borges, and we became
Oh my god.
bro. Like I was like, even just meeting him or like seeing him, I'm like, oh my god, Chaz Borges, And then we became friends because like his wife, I will always shout out Christina. She loved my music. Like every time I DJ Mi Vida, she's like, oh my god, girl, like you are so good. You play all our jams and you play, music for the young folks and all that. So I'm like, oh, thanks. So then when they'd come around and get all excited, like, oh shit. And then I ended up DJing some of his private events. Yeah,
Damn.
I DJ'd his 50th career anniversary party. Dude, every artist that you would want to be in the room with was there. I was like, whoa, Zach De La Rocha is like right there. Like,
What the fuck?
yeah, it was pretty amazing. So they've been supporters of me for a long time, and I asked him if I was like, I don't know if this is cool for you, like if you don't mind writing my name, like I won't, do any. I promise you, I won't like make any merch. Like it'll just be for me. And he came up to me when I was playing at Mi Vida one time, and like he gave me this envelope where he wrote Spiñorita on it, and then he gave me a USB stick with the file, and he was like, "You can do whatever you want with it. This is your logo." And I was like, "Oh,
I'm
what?"
I'm
Like,
currently on your Twitter. Is that your header? Is that the one that he wrote?
that's my header.
Yes, I knew it. I knew when I saw it, I'm like, wait, that looks almost like Chaz Bajorquez's like style. And I'm like, right now, this all makes sense. Wow. I'm
Yeah,
so fucking mind blown right now.
those stickers are gonna come when everything's back to normal. I have to and merchandise. I mean, I have shirts on the arms. It has Spiñorita and the Chaz, but they're limited. So whoever got them, I think I have a couple extras. So if I have them, I'll shoot you one.
Oh my God, that's so fucking crazy. You legit, like, okay, you have over, I don't even know how to say what's the word, but like, you for sure the dopest. Oh my God, what the fuck? That's crazy.
Hey man, that's shit. I'm like, thank Chaz, like everybody. I am so grateful for all the people who've ever supported me and see that my love for music is so big that they can tell when I'm playing that they give it back to me, that support, because I think that's what it is. Like it's so infectious that people are like, shit, man, we want to help you out too. Like I'm not only a fan of them, but they in turn become a fan of me because I'm
Yeah.
so into the music, like before ego, before even the name, like everything. Like I love music so much, and I think that's why people gravitate towards me, is because they can tell, and I come at it from my heart, you know. Like I don't try to be too cool. Like, you know, I'm funny sometimes. I'll throw stupid stories up and like gas it up, but like I'm chill as fuck, you know. Like I love music. I love people, and I love connecting people. And yeah, when that happened, I was just like, I mean, I kind of want to get a tattoo of it, but I'm still not sure if that's too like.
Run it, run it.
Some people have been like, I don't know, that's like already your name's that kind of weird, but like it's freaking Chaz. Like I already wanted a tattoo by Chaz. Like I
Like
was,
you have Spiñorita? Oh my God.
yeah, like I was already thinking, like, what can I, like, what word can I get in his lettering that I would want as a tattoo? And also retina, like retina's another favorite of mine. But anyways, yeah. So when he did that, I was like, fuck, should I get Spiñorita as a tattoo, or is that too weird, like having my own name? But I don't know. I mean, it's Chaz.
Oh, I have you gone to that? I think they have it called Beyond the Streets. It's like a little like art
Yeah,
gallery, but just of like graffiti.
you know what? I got to go to the VIP showing because of a friend. It was a bit like a confusing thing. Me and my friend, we went and we thought we could get in at that on that date, but it was only like for VIPs and like people who had access. And so I saw my friend Jay Davis. Shouts to him. He's like a educator, and he got in somehow. He had like some invitation. And we were there. We're just like kind of like, damn, we can't get in. And he was like, what? Come with me. And we're like, what? Like, oh shit. So I met Retina. I met Hayes, I met Rosie Perez, I met Chaz, I met so many people there, and I was just like, all night, like, oh my God, like this is so crazy, you know? And then fast forward to DJ and Chaz's like 50th career anniversary, a lot of those same people were there, and I was DJing for them, you know? So it's like, whoa. So yeah, I got to go to that show, and it was fucking sick, dude. Like I got the program, I saved it, so I want to like frame it somehow.
Do you have any pictures of that event, the 50th career anniversary of Chaz?
Yeah, I have a picture with me and Chaz and his wife, and then Chaz and myself. I didn't get to take any when I was DJing because I was working. But yeah, it was like a who's who of artists, and it was cool because I was playing a bunch of stuff. Like I was throwing in Led Zeppelin in there, like thinking of my brother, like his era, because there's a lot of people there that were like pinstripers and stuff, so I know they like that kind of stuff, and so I got I got to play stuff from influenced by him, and I was mixing it up. I was playing a bunch, because Chaz is that era, so I wanted to kind of like bring in that kind of sound too. So I was playing hip hop, everything, and Nipsey Hussle had just passed away, rest in peace. So I played a bunch of Nipsey, and there was a bunch of artists coming up like, yo, like I got tipped that night. Like people were giving me tips. Like it was a good night. It was a really good night, and so yeah, it was amazing, man. Like this life is so precious, it's just like you get to think back on those things and be so grateful for it, especially in times like this, so I'm trying not to let my spirit break and all that, like just really be grateful, be humble, be thankful, and keep the excitement going, because like I said, there's always something to learn. There's always music coming out, and I'm the type of person that always creates opportunities. So I'm just trying to see like what I can do during this time to keep that going.
Yeah, true. And I think the main thing they said as well too, even the people who are choosing to just, I guess, like relax, reflect on what's going on. I think that's very crucial as well too. Like I know a lot of people like keep busy. You have the time, and that's a dope option as well too. But I think even keeping yourself just reflecting on what's going on and which maybe you can work on and everything. That's a key part as well too.
Yeah, I agree. Like I'm kind of taking a break on social media a little bit, and it's been helping. It's nice to like really be present and chill the fuck out, like watch TV and not feel all bad, like, oh shit, I gotta mix, like, well, I can like literally just chill, so it's a privilege to do that, to be honest with you. Like there's a lot of people that can't even do that, so I recognize that as well, and take that into consideration. So I've always got to be grateful.
Man, but I'm so mind blown right now with the whole Chaz thing because it's crazy. I remember when I saw your that header, I was like, oh man, that looks like Chaz's like style, you know? And right now you saying that, I'm like, wow, that it's true. Like that's crazy.
Dude, yeah, I would never like go to somebody else and be like, "Yo, can you do Chaz style?" Like, that would
Well,
be
I know. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, it can't. I even thought I'm like, that can't be. You know, that can't be. But that's so crazy.
dude, how do you think I felt when he gave me the envelope? Like he already wrote it on it, and I was like, what? Like,
But
oh shit,
it's
is this like how do I get this off this? You know, and then I open it and it's like the USB with the file like on it. And he's like, you could do whatever you want. If you want to make merchandise, you want it's yours. And I was like, oh my God. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like this is worth more to me than like, you know what I'm saying? Like because I knew I could never pay him what he's worth for that. So it was one of those moments of like your heart is just like, fuck, you know, like all this hard work comes to a point like that, you know, where you get recognized for what you do. And that's why I work hard, you know, like I work hard because of things like that, you know. So yeah.
oh my god, that's crazy. That honestly, I'm so mind blown right now. Still thinking about that. I'm like, did I just hear that? Did I just really hear that right now?
I know, dude. Well, on my header, it's like the white background with the black lettering, but he also gave me it the other way, so it's black with the white. So
Okay.
I'm doing like two sets of stickers, like the white and the black background. So yeah, I have options. You know, like I have options to do whatever I want with it.
That's so
He
cool.
blessed me with that, and he put the Enye. I'm like, thank you.
I know. Honestly, when I was making that little like the schedule, whatever. I'm like, wait, did she officially have it with the Enya or no? And I saw that you did have it. I'm like, okay, no, let me add that.
I know I've been more adamant about that with promoters and anybody who's kind of like putting my name on something. Like I didn't used to before because I'm like, oh, I don't want to be drama, but nah, man, that's my name. Like, so I
True.
plan on getting it trademarked, hopefully this year, because it's such a good name, you know. Like I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to just like have it trademarked. I have a good friend who works in entertainment law, so he's gonna help me out with that, and then just like make it official, you know.
Yeah.
So if anybody tries to come and be like, "Spiñorita," like, yeah, you gotta pay me. Like,
Get that. What's it called? A
yeah,
desist or letter? I'm having a brain fart, but yeah.
yeah. I mean, because I got hit up before from like TV shows that were centered on DJs that were gonna come out like about consulting and stuff like that. So I'm like, let me be smart, you know, because I'm not gonna lie, my name is the shit, you know, and
It
I
is.
know
No,
it,
it
you know.
is. It
So,
is.
you know, it's like one of the best names out there. So you know, I don't wanna like watch a show and be like, what the fuck? Like, you know, so but I think if you've had like history with the name like online and all that stuff, but nah, I'm trying to make it like legit mine. So yeah, you know.
I love it. Yeah. I remember I was thinking about it too. I'm like, dude, Señorita, Spiñorita. I'm like, it has spin, has everything in there. I'm like, wow, that's like literally the freshest, almost most unique name that I've seen.
Yeah, I think so too. And I what I love about the name and me in it is that like you might think like, oh, maybe she plays only like Latin music or whatever, but like nah, like I think that's what's dope about Latinos too, is that we have so much rich history of like all kinds of music, you know? We don't just listen to like I didn't really grow up with corridos and banda and like more like mariachis and stuff, but we're pretty much Americanized, you know, when we were growing up. So now that I'm older, I'm getting into more of that stuff, cumbia and like, you know, um, even like reggaeton and stuff like that. Like I'm like, dang, like this is tight, you know. So I feel like I kind of love like representing that because I'm in like the electronic scene, I'm in the funk scene, I'm in like, you know, I can do a bunch of stuff. So I'm really proud of being able to do that and kind of like representing, you know, like being up there as a brown woman. Um, I don't know who's looking up at me like, shit, man. Like I've gotten other women come up to me like, dude, you make me want to DJ, and I'm like, you should. So I sometimes I teach classes, workshops on how to spin. I've done that before. Um, So because why not pay it back, pay it forward if people want to learn them down. So
Man, I love that. This you literally like this is what happens every time I talk to somebody in the podcast like episode. I like literally just like feel more inspired to keep going and just like I don't know. And then especially like talking to you, how you said like Latina, like I'm Latino, so it's just kind of like gives me more inspiration to just keep imprinting my foot and my influence, whatever in the scene, whatever that is. But
yeah, I think we bring a uniqueness to it, with how we're grow up and our influences and stuff. So I love seeing that. There's a lot of brown women out there, black women, like women of color, everybody, trans, non-binary. Like it's cool to like see the platform just expand, and more people are out there doing it. And like if it's not coming to us, like make it happen on your own. You know what I'm saying? Like just use your network and go for it. Like you never know, it could fail, but at least you always learn something. So I think that's something that's really amazing, is that you're always going to learn something, either bad or good. You're going to learn.
I know how you said earlier, and this was gonna stick to me like forever. You said like if the opportunity doesn't come to you, you make that opportunity. And when you said that right like earlier, I was like, holy shit! Like, god damn, that's powerful.
Yeah, that's how my dad was always like, you got to work hard. No one's going to give you anything. That's what he always told me, that no one's going to give you anything. So you have to go for it. And I'm like, okay. So that's why I always work fucking hard. Like NTS didn't just give me a show. Like I started casual play 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like it was just all that history of like, and then when it was ready to go, then I was ready to go. Like, okay, I got this, I got that. All right, cool. And then they saw it, So yeah, I mean, that's just like one example, but yeah, I never wait. I never wait. I don't, that's just shooting yourself in the foot. That's giving you an excuse to just be like, oh, forget it, or they don't want me. Like, no, your friends, if anything, your friends are going to come kick it and listen to you. So why not start there? They're the best. Word of mouth is the best form of promotion. Word of mouth. I swear to you. I've had so many people tell me, my friend saw you DJ at this place. I want to book you for this. I'm like, dope, like, I mean, it's rarely like, oh, I saw your flyer on IG, like, unless they're following me or whatever, like it's mostly a lot of people that have heard about me from somebody else. So, yeah, just keep going. Don't ever stop, don't ever stop. Like I said, don't let your mental stop you. Anybody else talk shit stop you. Like, just keep it going.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Um, and before we end the interview, I just kind of want to leave the listeners, with well, this might be hard to kind of say, because it's so much music that influences you. But do you think you can name some of your favorite like house, maybe even some hard house or funk and disco or even techno and hip hop records?
Let's see. So I'm currently bumping like Cody Curry. He's a house producer. Mike Huckabee from
Hey,
Detroit.
yes.
Um, I love Tenderlonius. He's out in Europe. I'm super into Rat Grave. They just put something out called Rock. Uh, let's see. And then just personal friends, like I said, Sample Delivery, Sesmo. As far as funk, anything on Mo Funk Records, XL Middleton, I love. Zaki Force Funk is amazing. The Funk Freaks hold it down in Santana. And then what else? Anything on Hobo Camp Records, I'm into, as far as like modern funk, and Funkin' Even is my shit. Stephen Julian. I'm looking at my Bandcamp right now because they just had that Friday where you
Oh,
could buy
yes,
stuff
yes.
from artists. Shout to Lady Monix, Steve Spacek, Black Jazz Consortium, Molinaro, my boy Jaron, Digo of 2000 Black, Patrice Scott, and so many more. If I could name them all, I would, but I would say to go to my SoundCloud page and listen to any of my mixes on there, or to Casual Play. I try to play as much new music as possible. So you'll probably hear something you probably haven't heard before, because I'm always trying to like look for different stuff. So yeah.
Man, I love it. And then also listen to Spiñorita.
Yes.
But yeah, but that's I think a little bit over 2 hours. So I think we covered a lot. And what I always tell people, of course, these conversations can go longer, but just because of cloud space and whatnot, you gotta keep it to to a minimum and everything. But is there anything that wasn't mentioned in this interview that you would like to uh address or anything?
Um, I think something that I would love to touch more on when I talk to other people is the biggest influence. One of the biggest influences was living in the Bay Area through my 20s, because I feel like I really grew up during that era of amazing music up there. I was really fortunate to live in LA when there was so much music here. Like Freestyle Fellowship had Project Blowed in Lamert Park, and then you had like ska gigs going on, and you had house stuff. Like it was, we're so lucky, so spread out. And then I moved to the Bay, and it was like the same thing. Like there was jungle and hip hop parties. I still got to see Abstract Tribe Unique. I got into Broken Beat, so I got to see Daz IQ, Digo. I got to, record for Jazzanova. I performed that song when Jazzanova came. I performed at this club called Pink, that song called In the Remix. I got to perform on the bar. So there was just so many like really dope, amazing experiences. I have to shout the Bay Area for giving me that, and setting me up for where I'm at today, and all my friends that are out there. I'm really grateful for that time in my life. Working at ABB, working at Cosmic Flux, really set me up for what I do today. I'm trying to start, if I can, start a vinyl record pool. And I learned that from working at ABB because we had that there. And I met amazing artists. Like I did PR for the sound providers. I worked with Little Brother. That's when I met Mark DeClivelo. I was the only one at the label that knew who he was. So I was like, oh my God, Mark DeClivelo. Like, ooh, and I'm like, y'all don't even know. And so that record that's like one of my top 3 records, Tides Are Rising. I always play it. And just the whole Bay Area era in my life, was very, very crucial to who Spiñorita is. And I don't get to talk about it enough. So I appreciate you letting me, delve into that in my college years and all that. And yeah, because that's really important to me. So yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for sitting with me and listening to my story.
I know it's funny when I was gonna start the interview. I'm like, thank you for sitting down. We'll remotely sitting down because we're both sitting down, or in our
Yeah.
own houses and everything. But yeah, no, but thank you for like, I was super like honestly when I sent you the message to like do the interview, I was nervous as fuck. I was like, fuck. I'm like, hopefully she's down or like whatever. So.
Why do you say that?
Well, just because of like I know like how much history you have, like and just the experience you have in all this stuff as well too. Like listening to your casual play interviews, because when I did Dean Paul's interview, I listened to your casual play to get information on him. But then I'm hearing about all the stuff that you went through, and then Guadalupe, and I think you had somebody else in that interview. I can't remember too. With besides Crick Klotz, it was a girl or a woman. She said something about like getting ready to for the
Yeah.
parties and everything. So I was just like, wow. I was just like, so I got more information on that, like besides Steam Pause information.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my God, like that's crazy. Like, so I remember in the future, I think when was it? January 18th or something when Drum Cell had his event. I think it's called Black Noise. So it's all live acts. And I was talking to my friend, and he's like, "Hey, so who do you plan on having, or who do you want to interview for this year?" And I'm like, "Oh, dude, Spiñorita." And right when I said Spiñorita, he was like, "Dude, do it, do it." She's had that casual play interview like for like years.
Man, you don't know how much that makes me feel so happy. Like honestly, like I feel like I'm just like a normal ass person that just like
Not
grew up
even. Not
music.
even.
Like I was just like out there dancing my ass off. Like I shit you not, I DJ because I love to dance. Like dancing is my shit, dude. Like I would battle fools at fucking raves because my homeboy would be like, that girl's trying to battle you. I'm like, shut up, and I'd like walk over there, and he said he would fucking joke around and tell me that when they weren't even doing it, I'd get all hyped and shit. Like it's just yeah, like when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I worked here, yeah, I worked there, like it's just so normal. But when people hit me up like you that are just like, yeah, like another podcast was like, we weren't sure if you were down. I'm like, why wouldn't I be down? Of course, I'm thank you. Like I'm honored because I'm always interviewing somebody else to tell your own story is like a whole other thing, and like I'm really grateful that people even want to hear about it. I'm just like, it's just like a normal, but I guess it's I did grow up in a really fun ass time, man. Like LA was fucking fun, dude. Like, and I was so lucky to have my sister be cool as fuck. Like I'm 6 years younger than her, so I think she could tell like I loved music, and all her friends were hella cool. Like Stilo, everything was just like, yeah. And my parents were cool. Everyone was just, we all just love music so much that I think it's just like, yeah, go ahead, like do what you want to do. It's all good. So it's led me to going to different countries, DJing in different countries, making friends all over the world. Like, man,
Meeting Sway.
oh my God, fucking Sway, dude. I was just like, what? Like,
In
yeah.
Chaz right now, just I was like, I'm still mind blown of like you, like for reals, like having that connection with Chaz, like that's crazy. That's like crazy dope.
Like they actually got me a gig in Japan when I went. I played this like fucking cool ass party that was all like lowrider music. Like they're super into it out there. Like there was this girl, she dresses like a chola. Like they're all dressed up. Like
Oh yeah, Japan. I think Japan. I've seen that. Like Japan has like a very like Chicano like
yeah.
uh culture respect, like low riders and like really dressing up like honestly like the cholo type like attire.
Hmm.
I hear that's very like popular over there as well too.
Yeah, they show a lot of respect for our culture, which is interesting, to see that. And yeah, I got to play with my friend Moni Loca, and they were just so dope. Like everyone, like the bartender tapped me and was like, "Yeah!" Like when I was DJing. And it was this tiny little bar in Shibuya, and I reached out to Christina Chaz's wife because she said she knew people in Japan, and I asked her like, "Hey, I'm kind of looking for a gig," and she introduced me to Shin Miyata, and he booked me. So yeah, I mean it. I there's so many experiences that I'm just like, I even look back like I can't believe that happened to me. Like fuck. So you got to remember those times, especially like in these times. Like there's still more of that to come. As long as I keep going, as long as we all keep going and it's right for our soul and we feel it, like you really truly feel it. You don't do it for like attention or, like that, the wrong reasons. You do it for the right reasons. And I think that's why I keep getting in these situations because I'm doing it for the right reasons, like it's
Yeah.
because I love it. So, yeah, and I'm approachable, man. I'm not the type of person like what, like I'm like, what up? So yeah, hopefully we could meet in person
No,
after
we
all this.
will. That is, it is. It's gonna happen. It's funny because I think I even told you too. I'm like, hey, so because I remember I told my supervisor, I'm like, oh, so next Monday, um, I think I told her, I'm like, I'm gonna get an oil change because I gotta drive to LA. She's like, I don't think so. She's like, with everything going on, I'm like, I think you won't be able to. I'm like, oh shit, you're right. And I think I just hit you up. And I'm like, hey, so just in case that I'm not able to go, just with all the like lockdowns and everything, just in general, like also the limited visitations, I'm like, I think we can do it remote. So
Yeah, it's luckily we know what we're doing. So we come up. Like I said, I had to do interviews for this mix series I have called In Between. I chose 4 friends that live in different countries that I met on Instagram that we were like just always sending music to each other and like just connecting on music. And they're in Japan, South Africa, Amsterdam, and Switzerland. And I was like, man, I should do something, like take this friendship offline, like what if fucking Instagram goes away and I don't even know how to get in touch with these guys, whatever. So I created this mix series and I did an interview with each one of them to just kind of like see how they grew up. Same thing, like see how they grew up. And we had a lot of, even though we didn't grow up in the same countries, we had a lot of similar situations in our lives. So that was really cool. And I had to figure out how the fuck am I going to record this? So I was looking all kinds of like, how do I do this? And down, downloading all these apps and everything. And then I researched Skype and it said I could do it. So yeah, I mean, we're all here to help each other too. So
Yes, yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
because you helped me out with like Skype and everything as well too. Because I think originally I was trying to use Zencaster, but yeah, a little technical difficulties, but it's done. We made it. We were able to communicate through this
Got this.
mini quarantine.
Virus ain't taking us down.
Oh man. But before we finish up, I wanna, or you let people know where they can find you, social media wise. So if you want to drop your handles and your links and everything right now.
Sure. I have a website, spinorita.com. It's Spinorita. On Instagram and Twitter is the same, at Spinorita. My SoundCloud is poppin', so go there. Spinorita everywhere. I mean, I'm the only one with
Mixcloud as well too, right?
Mixcloud as well. Yeah, Mixcloud, Spinorita. I think it's DJ Spinorita, but I go by my preference is just Spinorita. So, yeah, because one day I'm gonna start making music and I'm not gonna need the DJ there anymore. So, yeah, so I'm online. Yeah, I'm online. So hit me up. Listen to my mixes. I'm coming out with some new stuff, and I'm excited for the mix for this show too. I got some dope tracks in there. So yeah.
Alrighty, man. So everybody, you follow the social media links. Stay tuned. She's an amazing artist overall with rich the culture that we're all embracing right now, which is not even underground anymore. Electronic music scene is like on the forefront of a lot of things. But you're not just electronic music. You're funk, you're everything. So that's what makes because I first thought it was just when you're embracing the electronic, the raving scene, but it comes with so much background. So that also plays a big influence in the electronic music sets that you have.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to like a lot of music and know how to put it together. So yeah, man, I ain't just one thing.
Alrighty, well, I think we'll leave it as that. Again, this is the Beyond Normal Days episode featuring Spiñorita. This was amazing, amazing, inspirational episode. I love this so much. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, and same to you. Thank you for keeping me inspired, especially through these times. And I really appreciate you helping me tell my story. Like I said, I always just think it's just like 10 people listening to my radio show, and then all of a sudden I get a message from some country that I'm like, what? Like you listen to my shit? Like Addison Groove hit me up. Like
Oh
I like
shit.
the radio show. I was like, oh my god, like. Do you even know when you came out with Foot Crab, that song was like in my brain forever? Like I bought the 12-inch in London at Phonica. Like, what? And he's like, do you have the DJ Rashad version? I'm like,
Oh my God.
oh, he's like, here. I'm like, ah! Like, I can't believe it sometimes, dog. Like, seriously, I'm just like, wow. Like, when I finally make it out there, we plan on me. Like, he lives in Bristol. So he told me when I get out there, he'll rent like a recording studio so we could do a mix together. I'm just like, if my hands are shaking, don't think that weird. He's like, whatever. I'm like him and Ramadan Man, like Christian Sound and all that era. Oh my God. Like that's just one example. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, no. This is was amazing. And this is like what 2.5 hours of conversation. I tell people these can go on like literally 5+ hours, but just to
Yeah.
kind of keep it like in the limits of uploading and whatnot. There's always a limit, but
Yeah.
thank you
And it's
again.
people's attention span, like we're in the
Yeah,
era of like 10 seconds, you know, like
I know, and it kind of almost sometimes sucks when people look at me like, "What, 3 hours?" I'm like, "Yeah, listen to it. It's not just like in one sitting. You know, you're gonna maybe like in days because you know when I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast and the Nine Club. Not sure if you heard of the Nine Club. It's a skateboarding podcast.
no, I haven't. I'm gonna check
Oh,
it out.
check it out. Yes, the Nine Club. They have all these like legendary and then current and OG skaters. You're gonna love it. I was gonna tell you in the beginning when you told me that you like skateboarding. I'm like, oh my god, you gotta listen to the Nine Club. The Nine Club. It's amazing.
I think, I'm pretty sure it's either Lance Mountain or Tony Hawk that lived in Alhambra.
Ooh. Well, they both came. They're both on the podcast, so I wouldn't be surprised if they even talked about it. But they were both on the Nine Club episode or
Oh, really?
podcast.
Yeah, because I remember that back in the day. That one of them, I can't remember. Yeah, if it was Lance Mountain or I think it was Lance Mountain, maybe. But I think he lived in Alhambra.
Damn, that's. Oh wait, and also mentioning Alhambra. Do you remember the Alhambra like festival, or it's like a festival?
I played it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I remember I was thinking about I'm gonna ask her and she's probably gonna say she's played it.
Yeah, I played it. I played the first year, and then they came around for the second year, and it got shut down somehow. But it was actually it was cool. I wish it could have had a lot of potential because the first one was dope. I mean, there was some like logistical stuff they could have changed, especially for the DJs. They should have had us on the main stage, but I think if it would have got fleshed out more, like more years into it, it would have been really dope. I mean, they had Dame Funk and bunch of
Wait,
people.
wait,
Like
it was only one time?
it was only one time, yeah, the main
Oh,
festival.
yeah,
Yeah,
damn funk because my friend played it, but he played it like at because they kind of closed down these little like I don't know if you call it a shopping center, but had
yeah,
like bars and everything. And my friend played it in a bar, but the
yeah,
main stage was when damn funk and I think is it check or when they played whatever and some other people played.
yeah. It was cool. I was like, wow, Alhambra. Shout out to Joanna. I think her last name's Medina because she's my good friend's cousin. She was the spearhead of it. She threw it. That was really cool. I was like, wow, this is dope for Alhambra, you know?
It was tight. It was tight.
Because our little club and whatever. But yeah, I got to play the first and only year. And it was fun. I mean, I had my Spiñorita shirt on. My family was there, my homies were there. We're like, like it was cool. It was really dope. It was a fun
When
time. And
you played, like the DJs, were they like in the middle or like in the
yeah,
center
we
or
were in the middle. They had like a stage. It was like a random weird stage. I feel like they
yeah,
should have had it
I
on the
remember it.
stage. Yeah, I should have been there, but I mean, maybe they don't know like DJing stuff. But yeah, so we were on the stage in the middle, and then I think Cooper Saver played. I think he DJed too. And yeah, it was cool. I was juiced for it, and I was hyped that they asked me because I always rep Alhambra. I'm trying to get to the key to the city, man. Fuck. I mean, I rep it so
You
hard.
deserve it. You deserve it for sure.
Fuck.
We're gonna
I
we're
mean,
gonna use
like,
this episode as like as a resume. Like, look, listen to this shit. She deserves the key to the city, homie.
that's what I'm saying, bro. I mean, I dubbed it the bra. The bra, it's the bra. Like, I'm the queen of the bra. So, anyways, but yeah, I got to play it. That was fun.
Oh man, no, I was there. That's crazy. So I remember seeing your like I wasn't surprised if I saw your name on there, but I went to go because my friend played, but he was um he has it's a band right now, Sin Passion, but he was doing a solo project as
Hmm.
Joe McFly and he played like I think at a bar like in there, and then we went to go see the main stage and whatnot and everything.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. I mean, hopefully, maybe they'll bring it back because
Yeah,
that
it
would.
was fun. It was super cool. It was a very cool little festival. It was dope.
Yeah, and it was, like when does Alhambra ever have something like that? Like I was really hyped for that. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe they'll get back around to it when everything calms down and give the residents something cool to check out. For the
Yeah.
young folks too. Like give us something to have fun in our own city. We don't have to keep going to LA or like Pasadena, like in our own backyard. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. Well, for sure, if you play, we're gonna make a petition for you to be on the main stage because you deserve it.
I mean, if they don't have me, they're fucking up.
For sure, for sure. Well, again, Thank you so much for this conversation. This was really amazing and very inspirational and just educational as well too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really, really do. I thank you for taking your time out to speak with me. And like I said, let me tell my story. So thank you so much.
I can't wait for the mix, and I can't wait for everybody to check this out.
Me too.
Alrighty, well, so we'll leave it as that. Everybody, hope you like to get to know a little bit of Spiñorita. If you have some questions, reach out to her and get to know her more because there's way more unsaid information.
Yes.
Alrighty, well, we're gonna cut it like that. So thank you all.
Thank you.